Welcome back, Lara.
Thank you.
That was a super quick introduction.
I mean, what else would you like to know?
Yeah.
I'm at Tattoo Doula on Instagram. I'm the Tattoo Doula.
Yep. And you've got a sleeve of some beautiful work that Fawn's working on.
Because
Such an awesome saltwater sleeve.
It's
Ocean
crazy
sleeve.
how it's starting to take shape
Oh my
now
God,
that
it
we're
really
we're
is.
far enough into that underwater scene that it's kind of
This
taken on a
guy
life of its own.
is George. I named
You
him.
named him?
I
Good.
love him so much.
When
Oh,
we
that's awesome.
every time I do like another
Parrotfish.
creature or like a
Dory's
focal
back
point,
here.
I'll be like, well,
Nice-
what's this
nice
guy's
tank.
name gonna be?
Emo. I got them all. That's awesome.
Yep, it's coming together, and we've got an appointment coming up next week.
Next week, yeah,
I can't wait.
yeah, I'm excited.
I can't wait. Devin,
It's so funny from a certain angle. It looks like we're so far along, and then if I go like
You'll-
this, it's like, oh,
you
no,
see the
we've
whole
got a ways to
elbow
go.
area. Yeah. I mean, we're getting
We
there
are getting there,
for the
sure.
amount of detail that's in everything. Like
Yeah.
it's really coming together nicely, and like the progress is like the momentum is there. Every time we see each other, there's a whole huge new chunk
I
done.
know.
So,
I love it so much.
so Devin,
Hello,
welcome to the show, friend.
hi, I'm Devin.
You want to talk about some of the people you've collected from, and maybe a little bit about what you do, because I think that's kind of rad and nerdy as well.
Rad and nerdy.
Yeah,
I
all
like
of
that that's
the
the criteria.
yeah.
Must be rad and nerdy to
I mean-
speak.
I can't say we haven't had hour-long conversations about Dungeons and Dragons at work. It has happened. So hi, I'm Devin. I'm DH Goldsmith on Instagram. I work with gold and diamonds for a living. I make and repair jewelry, and I do custom work sometimes. I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I don't know. It's
How long have you been doing jewelry for?
with the company that I'm at now. I've been doing jewelry professionally for probably about 3.5 years. I started out just kind of like wire wrapping in my free time, doing stuff like trying to sell that stuff at festivals and
Right,
things like
totally.
that. And then I decided that I wanted to kind of dive into more like the finer jewelry aspects of it. And
Nice.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's
I-
awesome,
I-
man.
I-
That's fucking
I-
awesome.
I don't know. I wake up and play with diamonds every day, and
That's very
it's-
cool.
Have you got much into any like silversmithing and things on your own?
I've got a few projects in the works. Nothing that I've really like sat down and spent any significant time at lately. I've been really busy just with work. And it's hard to sit down at a bench at home after you've sat down at a bench
Mm.
for 10 to 12 hours.
Right.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. I know I'll be tattooing sometimes and I'll be thinking like I love tattooing and I'm creating the entire time, but then I'm like, the entire time I'm like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna make this sculpture, I'm gonna paint this, I'm gonna do all that. I'll have like all the energy for it in my brain while I'm working half the day. Then I'm on my drive home and I'm like, I ain't doing shit
Yeah,
tonight.
no.
That is not happening, but I might want it so bad.
Netflix
I want
and
it so
like,
bad.
Yeah, beverage and some food.
Food and sleep.
Yeah.
So much just sleep for me. I have an option. I'm like, you know what I should do? Sleep. Just turn that
I mean,
off.
honestly, it's always a good option. And man, I swear to God, if I ever like take a nap or when I go to sleep, I always wake up feeling a little bit better.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
It's-
that's
you
the whole
need it.
point. of
Right,
sleep,
exactly.
like,
So it's just like, it's always a good option.
Yeah.
If all else fails, like, well,
it's
go to sleep, I can always get some
it's
sleep.
a great like
Mhm.
avoid. Like, you know what I don't want to do is this list of stuff. You know what I'm going to do instead? Take a nap.
sometimes there's a back and forth there though. We got a lot to do and it's like, I would just rather sleep and all that stuff needs to get done. But if you sleep, it's still valuable.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
valuable because you're still
Self-care.
getting your sleep.
I'm gonna
Do
be
those
so
things
much
when you're more
productive
energized.
tomorrow because I slept today.
But then if you do that all week and you create a habit of it,
the next day
moderation.
because she
I
slept
haven't-
through the whole day.
I don't know. I haven't been able to get like a full 8 hours. I'll like take little naps here and there, but I don't think I've gotten like a full consistent 8 hours in years.
Yeah.
I missed the days where I could sleep for 12 hours. Those were great.
Yeah.
We wake up. and
Always
have
trying to get as
work.
much sleep as I can, but usually 8 hours is a max, usually, yes, between 6 and 8, I feel like, but
don't know. I feel like 5 or 6 of actual sleep, and that's a good night for me.
Yeah, it's usually about a
Consistent in a
solid
row, that
night.
would be
Anything
amazing.
less or anything
Oh,
more,
I
I'm
do
just
too.
3-hour
tired.
Yeah,
chunks.
maybe
I
2 or
cannot do
3
less than 5.
Consistently.
Less than 5, and I didn't sleep.
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm getting less than 5, I mean, yeah, there's really not much of a point in going to bed at that point.
That's how I used to see it, at least.
But yeah,
Nope.
no,
Nope. I
Sleep's
gotta
important.
I gotta have at least a little bit of a break for like my like to mentally go from like, okay, this is today, now it's tomorrow. Like I gotta fall asleep and wake back up. I gotta have that like reset. Otherwise, it's just like
It's still
one
today.
long,
All day.
dragging, exhausting day on my body. Like I gotta have that reset. Even if I'm not like rested from that reset, once I've got that mental, like, okay, yesterday sucked, today's halfway over already.
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to take just like days long, like art benders basically, and just like work on shit as long as I could. Couldn't sleep and didn't want to sleep. Sleeping
Yeah.
like took away from my like if I go to sleep, that's like 8 hours I'm gonna miss on these 3 days I have off right now. Like let's work as hard as we can those 3 days and then just not sleep at all, but just feeling like absolute garbage.
Buddy, you're
I
twisting.
back then I had a little bit of stimulation too.
Lift up, you'll be good. There you
Yeah, the all night thing, I gave up on a long time
go.
ago.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
that's
nope, never.
They
I
tried
am
to.
not when I hear people say they stayed up all night, I'm like, you fucking
I'm
idiot.
so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I have
I
literally
don't give
never
them.
done it.
I don't
and
give
felt
them
good
an
the
I'm
next
so
day.
sorry. I give them a you did this to yourself.
Yeah.
Like if I stay up all night
Right, you
and
more
I'm still
saying
tired
no.
the next day, I did that to myself, and I know I did it, and I'm paying for it.
I was working for this t-shirt company and they were like, hey, so we're gonna start running 24 hours. And that means someone needs to be here at, all night to run the machines. And I just kind of looked at them and I was like, what are you asking me to do here? Like, what is the implication of this conversation? sir?"
Right.
And essentially they're like, can tomorrow you start working overnights? And I'm like, you mean so you want me to go home right now when my shift is over and then come back tonight? Right? That's what you're asking me to. What?
Yeah, basically.
You want me to finish what I'm doing right now, leave, and then come back to run an overnight shift
In 3 hours.
tonight after I open? I've been here since 5 a.m.
Yeah, you're
What?
not a robot.
Sure, fuck it. I came in, I was trash. That's your fault. You asked me to do this. Like,
Never.
I got it done.
Oh,
Shit was
man.
up and running. I mean,
I don't know. To be fair, I've
To
had
be
some of my
fair.
best
Proud of you
like
for that.
work opportunities and
I was
things like that when I was like working just dead dog beat exhausted. You know what I mean? Like
There's-
I have stumbled upon to some of the best work situations
Yeah.
and like
I'm not a stranger to the 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 hour days. But at the same time, this was one of those things where it was like, guys, really? So what I did was just did everything I could to set up before I left right then.
mhm.
So I could just come in and be push the buttons and everything's running and I'm gonna go over here. And that's exactly what I did. And I got paid and it all worked out fine. So still, it's kind of like that's a conversation you thought was gonna go well with any human being. You thought that coming back here and being like, hey bro, what are you doing in like 4 or 5 hours? Free?
Hopefully sleeping.
For like another 12?
No, I don't need sleep. That's
So,
okay.
so Ben, as a non-tattooer, it's pretty frustrating, right?
Oh, I couldn't imagine someone being like, hey, what are you doing on your day
Like
off? homie?"
I know you've worked all day today, but like I just
Please.
got here and like
How
can
do
you
you, like-
start this like
It's-
half sleeve?
It's only gonna take you an hour.
No, that's gonna take me like 7 or 8, bro. And I've
I-
already
I seen
worked
that.
7
I
or
seen on
8.
Ink Master. This guy got a whole back piece done in like 4 hours.
Bro.
So what do you mean you can't get this done?
Duh. You guys
Oh,
are
This is not
man.
really in 4
Ink
hours,
Master.
so-
I
Now
thought
the
you
Ink
were a
Master's
pro.
back on
But I've
Netflix.
literally had
It's
people say stuff like
resurged
that.
the Ink
Working on
Master
like 3-4 sessions
everything.
now.
Like everybody is starting to think they're tattoo professionals again because they've watched Ink Master on Netflix. First of all, that was like 12 years ago. Okay, tattoo community's come a long way. First of all.
Where's the boss? You got her finger out. Not today,
Oh,
Ink Master.
it's just research the Ink Master know-it-alls.
So my big problem with Ink Masters is it destroyed the bubble, right? It used to be that I had this great social barrier with people. If you were too ignorant to take the time to talk to me because I had tattoos, it was a great filter. It made it so I didn't have to talk to a bunch of narrow-minded piece of shit people. Because if they went, oh, I was like, cool, you're stupid. And I could just go on with my day, right?
No love lost.
None. My day is sweet, right? So now,
I do see a duality to that.
now we got Ink Masters, right? Now the housewives and the grandmas think it's okay.
No, they're the Ink Masters. now.
Yeah. Oh, that looks good. Can I see? Can I touch? Can I feel you? Can I open up your? Can I pull up your pant leg? Can I?
Yes, master.
I've been accosted at the
Master.
grocery store.
Oh my God.
Like, ma'am, do you realize, ma'am?
Put my shirt down.
Yeah. Try to buy produce. Ah. Ink
That's why you
Masters.
don't walk into a department store with a smile on your face.
I blame it all on
Frown.
Ink Masters.
All
Were they the
everyone
first
you ever
one?
meet, you have to
Or was
frown.
Miami Ink the first one? I don't know which one.
And Ink Master's really the one that like kind of broke down critiques. And
Whichever one it was, fuck them.
No,
Let's put it out there.
I think
On
Miami
me.
Ink kind of opened the door, but I think Ink Master, because of the way they had like the critiques before
Right.
the elimination, I think those critiques are where people were like learning the most, and now they knew what to look for. But like in reality, so here's the thing. I'm sure that all the contestants would stand there and they'd probably spend like 10 or 15 or 20 minutes like having a true critique of each tattoo, the pros, the cons, what they did successfully, what they did that was a little weak, where all we see on TV is the 15 seconds of that are going to be
Right.
the most dramatic 15 seconds. That's not a true critique. They're not talking, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that if we sit down and talk about a tattoo,
Wait.
we're going to talk about placement. We're going to talk about line weight. We're
You-
going to talk
you're telling
about
me
color
this-
choices as well as color saturation.
There was more involved.
Yeah,
You're
there
telling me
was.
We didn't see the whole
There
picture.
was
Mhm.
probably like 2 or 3 hours of them standing there critiquing tattoos, and then they sum it up into one 5-minute segment between commercial breaks.
I'd like to think that.
I'm sure.
Hopefully.
I mean, that's how
I'm-
critiques go. That's how professional critiques go, and that's how like artists grow and learn from one another. It's like having the gumption to put your work in front of people and say, what do you think of it? Tell me your thoughts. How could it be better? And it takes a lot to do that. So
Yeah.
when we
I-
only see the little segment for drama.
That's true. And I always understand that they
They
film.
basically just had a topic and brought a bunch of people in and said, all right, you're getting this here, right?
No, Ink Masters was on for like 12 or 14 seasons, and it was like a reality competition where all of these artists like live together, create art together, create tattoos together. All of it's on a competition status, or like here's this exercise that's going to lead into this competition.
Kind of like Iron Chef, but for tattoos.
Boom, exactly.
Oh,
One of the cool things.
I have never heard it described that way. And that is the most nail on the head statement I think somebody made today. It was. Here is your secret ingredients.
There's just one.
It is a
show-
tradition of Rose.
But
You must
here's the
tattoo.
thing that I always liked about Ink
one
Master.
show format. and they just-
I like
Right.
the way I like the way like early in the episodes they have like the challenge where it's going to be like street art or painting a model or like doing scrimshaw, or like they have all of these other artistic
I just
exercises
fun
that,
show.
like-
Now she's mad at me.
No.
She's like, let
I'm
me
indifferent.
justify for a minute.
I'm indifferent. I'm just saying this is one thing that I always liked because it incorporated all the other kinds of art into tattooing, so you could
Yeah.
see which contestants were better, more seasoned artists
Artists,
by who
yeah.
was comfortable just being like, oh yeah, I'll throw this hat on today and I'm gonna knock it out of the park.
Right.
Like you could just see which artists were like on their game,
Mhm.
willing to learn, ready to get better, ready to like meet these opportunities. And then you could see which contestants were like about the drama and which ones were like, I don't know, I've never even held a such and such before. Like, how can you like approach things like being a creative person, given a set of creative tools? How can you be intimidated by that? Like, pick the tools up and run with them. Like, if you're creative and you already know how to
Man.
work with a pencil and paper, you should be able to know how to work with these other mark
Man.
making tools.
Man.
Not
I'm
the same.
I'm not a very creative, if you will. I mean,
He's
you
not
want
a
to do,
creative.
you want to do some crayons, and like you give me something I can just fill in some color, I'm there. But like creating things is not my jam. Someone once said today, I'm good at smiley faces. This part applies to my artistic abilities. Yeah.
You ever play a game of Hangman? That's what I draw like.
That's stretching. The limbs are still different sizes.
One of the best jewelers that I've ever met, his name's Brandon Scott. Going off of what you said with like pencil and paper, one of the best things that he ever told me as far as like making something like in jewelry terms, if you can make it with paper, you can make it with metal.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, Jordan just winked at me.
And then I seen him change the camera.
I didn't change anything. I just wanted to fuck with you.
Oh, I thought it was like on me and I
No,
did that and changed
no.
the camera.
I should have.
I did not mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
oh no, that was pretty much it. But yeah, no,
Sorry,
going off
guys.
of what you said with pencil and paper, I feel like yeah, and if you're given tools, you should. Don't sit there and say I've never used it. At least pick it up, try and use it
Right.
before you.
One of
just
my
give up
favorite
on it.
phrases
It's kinda
I feel
ever
that
for
completely.
something new, like when somebody puts something new on my plate, my favorite is challenge accepted.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
I can see that.
And I also like, I don't invest myself in the things I have no interest in, but like if I'm interested in it, I think it's a challenge. And if I don't know how to do it and I'm interested, I'm like, I really want to learn how to do that really bad.
My problem is I'm like, ooh,
So like I feel like for me, creativity, like that's what drives creativity is just like an interest in something, but then an interest to want to do it, and then the interest to like want to figure out how to do that. So like creativity could be like with anything, with so many different things.
I'm red hot for like a month. I'm like, this is my shit. I'm diving in. I'm gonna do all the thing. And I'm like, this is hard. Fuck this.
At least you planted the
So-
seeds
Oh
though.
my
And
gosh.
Planted
name,
seeds.
name a hobby that yep. As soon as I'm like, wait, there's a skill involved.
I did that with RC plans for
Oh,
about
wait,
2
this
months.
guitar.
RC planes.
RC plans. I got really into them.
You
for
are a
about-
nerd.
I got really into them
Nice.
for like 2 months, and then I got one that was kind of expensive and
Wrecked it.
wrecked the shit out of it. And I was
That's
like,
all that
I'm
goes.
not doing this again. I'm
Never
done.
mind.
It's so funny.
First time you light your $1,200 quilt on fire. Fuck. It's gonna be cold. I'm with you, bro.
You did that?
Oh yeah.
A $1,200 quilt?
Yeah.
Why? Why wouldn't you, Ben?
Oh,
Were you smoking a blunt in it or something?
I'm so glad my ex-wife doesn't listen to shit.
Were you lighting a dab inside it?
No. I was a little
Too much
too
friction?
close to the clear.
Oh.
Little,
You didn't wake up with it on fire, did you?
maybe a little Jack Daniels involved.
Mm.
Maybe a little
That happens.
spark and amber. And I was
It's
like,
like the
"Let's go,"
makings
and
of
I
a Friday
crushed
the
it away.
13th film right there.
No, it was fun.
Yep, first the quilt lights on fire.
I didn't
All
get
hell
burned.
breaks loose after that.
We're
There's no turning back.
We're good.
We've turned back. We're good now.
Yeah, we should stop this. We've all ruined things that are expensive.
Right.
Oh
Yes.
man, oh man, have I?
Yeah, most definitely have I.
Hmm.
For sure. My Cheyenne pen. Thanks, Cheyenne. I love you guys, but she's being funny.
Already.
I don't know. I think it might be between me and the Cheyenne, the problem. So I love you guys, and God, this is the best machine I've ever used in my entire life. But yesterday I went to use it, and it was just being a little funny. But
Did you
I'm
try?
gonna give it a good clean down in every way that I can, and I'm gonna come back to you guys.
Did you
And I'm gonna
try
let you
pulling
know.
out the cartridge and blowing it?
You know,
You missed that
I
step.
thought about it, but I was like,
Crucial step.
this is
Just saying.
kind of looks like a Nintendo 64
It's
cartridge, but
been, proven method of fixing things with cartridges. Blow on it.
Mhm.
High pressure slobber fixes everything.
If it was pre-2000s, usually you could blow in it and make it work.
That was vague.
Most video game systems pre-2000s. I
Breathe
still
on the
do that
CD.
with CDs that I have that are 20 years old. They work.
CDs. Wow. My car is a CD player. I'm like, what do I do with that?
That's all I have in my car.
I remember
I
feeling
only
like I
have
was ahead
one
of the time
CD.
having a zip drive.
Yeah. The HHD or whatever. or-
Yeah, back in like 2002. Look at this. Do you know how many files I can fit on this thing? Like 30 high res.
Was that when like 2 gigs was the max you could get?
Right.
Yeah, that would have been the big boy.
Two whole
See,
gigs.
and it's
Just say, I
66
remember when a
changes in the trunk.
32 gig was like $100.
Right.
Now we're like
Down to like
2,
10.
3, 4 terabytes for $100.
Yay, technology.
It's wonderful. I love that.
Look at this high-end portable hard drive. It'd be like the size of a VHS cassette tape, if you guys remember what those are. And then they'd be like, my roommate in college had one. She was like, "No, this is cool. It was designed by Porsche. I could throw this down the stairs." I was like, "I bet you could. It looks like a transport case."
I don't know if I want to.
I mean, it was just a real sharp-looking, pewter-colored,
My only thing is,
sleek-looking box.
You ever
but-
seen a wrecked Porsche?
It was real sleek looking.
Shit still
before.
broke. I'm just, like, I don't know if the steps was the right answer to that. Fuck it, chuck it on the steps and see what happens.
I
Where's my
mean,
Porsche?
to be fair, we lived
All
on
right.
the very top floor of our building, which was like the 13th floor. And the elevators went out a lot because it was an old building. So you had to truck it. So durability upon the stairs was an important factor at
We measure
CCS.
things in step drops. Let me tell you, that jug of milk, it's only a 6-drop thing.
Okay, Ben, I know you know I'm funny about backpacks, but there's nothing that is going to test the structural integrity of a backpack
More
more
than a gallon of milk.
than more than a 70-pound litho stone
Ugh.
up those 13
Why-
flights of stairs.
What?
I was in fine arts. I took lithography. Our stone was
Why are you spending 70
Jesus
pound
Christ.
stone?
What did you do to it once you
Why?
had it up there?
What?
Oh, I grew
That's
on
like-
it.
I need
I was
so
like,
much back.
"Lithostone."
I need so much more story.
okay.
Back
Here's
is
how
all the way
lithography
up.
works.
I'm
We're gonna
settling
have a
in.
chemistry lesson.
Give it
So
to me.
lithography is the art of printing with chemistry using either a stone or, which came later on, metal plates.
So you carry around a 70-pound stone to print stuff?
Well, yeah, I was doing a self-portrait on it.
Keep
I
going. Keep going.
Okay, so again, lithography is with chemistry.
So you're
So you're not
transferring.
carving it. I'm
You're
actually
transferring.
drawing on it with wax crayons, like
Okay.
specific litho crayons that are like different hardnesses, but they're tinted black so you can see them. So you basically draw on this stone with crayon. And once your drawing's complete, you then buff that drawing with talc and rosin, and that's going to like create a barrier that protects your wax. Are you following me?
I'm totally with you.
So now you've got this wax drawing that has this powder coating protecting it. And then you take gum Arabic or another natural gum, and you put just a little bit of sulfuric acid in it and like
Just-
drop
Just fucking
Drop to the
sulfuric
solution.
acid. Okay.
straight in with the sulfuric.
Okay.
So then
I'm
you take
hooked.
this solution, this is called your etch. So you can make your etch in different strengths or weaknesses.
Like
And
the
you take
solution you're
that-
making with sulfuric acid is called an etch.
Yep, because
Okay,
you're going to
I'm with
etch into your stone with that or your plate.
I'm slow. I
then
hear twice sometimes.
You basically slather this whole thing all over your stone. And what it does is it's going to dissolve the stone just a little bit in the areas where the crayon is not.
Okay.
So where you haven't
So
put the crayon and
raised.
the talc and
it'll
rosin,
end up raised.
barely. So it's just like it etches just millimeter, like a fraction of a millimeter deep. And then once you're done etching it, you wash it all down. And then once it's dry, you start rolling out your ink over here, and the rollers are these big, long, flat, like smooth rubber rollers. And you roll it out, and then you'll see your image reappear because it's going to stick to where the crayon was, not where you etched. And then you can create multiple transfers, and they never warp, they never distort. And then once an artist is done with that series, they'll either gouge the stone or they'll just grind it back down and reclaim it. So like when they say breaking the mold, that's what printers would do. They would either gouge their stone so no other lithographer could use it. Or if it was reused, you knew it was the second edition
Mhm.
because there was a mark in it.
Hmm.
So lithography is, you know how I get off on chemistry. You know how
That's
I
why
nerd
I
right
just turned
out
the camera
about
and
chemistry.
just let it happen.
So,
I was
so
ready.
anyways, long
I
story
never
short,
had to
this
take
is why
chemistry.
this is
I
why
never
the
once took
structural
chemistry.
integrity of a backpack is important to me. You never
Okay.
know when you need to carry something
Fine.
up a lot of flights of stairs.
Now
So
you
good
understand why
too.
that story needed so much back content.
Well,
I
you're
had
the one
no
that asked
idea
what
why the fuck
lithography
you
was.
Yeah, but why
I
are you
still
carrying a
have- I still have
seven?
a follow-up question.
You
What's the
couldn't do
follow-up
that on a
question?
piece of slate.
Did it have to be a 70-pound rock?
That's
Could
right.
it have been a smaller?
Can we get a piece of slate?
Like a 20?
We got to
20
pick our
pounder?
stones out, and mine, the one
And
that
you
I picked,
picked a 70.
it was a solid medium.
Yeah.
It was nice and it
I
was
bet
nice
it was
and
solid.
it was nice and big, but it wasn't real thick. So I had a big surface, but not a lot of thickness. Some of the stones were like 4 inches thick and a little bit smaller, where mine was large. And
In charge.
next week, I'm gonna bring some of my litho prints and show you, because I did some
Please.
successful touches, which is like I was
Booties?
combining.
A touche
Like-
or a touche?
I believe it's touche, but there is an E on the end, so it could be touche.
That's when you challenge somebody to fucking survey,
Uh,
right?
my professor called it a touche, and I'm gonna say it the way that he did. So, but it's basically where like
a touche.
where before I mentioned where I would draw.
I tried. I'm sorry. I tried so hard. And I couldn't.
Sorry, I was waiting. I was looking around. I'm sorry.
Jordan's saying zingers today.
So where I mentioned earlier, where you could draw on the stone
Uh-huh.
with the crayon, another way that you can work with them is you can actually take solvent, paint thinner, and you can melt the crayon down in a solvent, and then you can paint on it as if it's watercolor. So it's like a waxy, solventy watercolor. It's much more delicate, so you've got to be much more careful during like the talc and rosin process because all of the films are much finer. But I had a successful print of that style, and I guess that's really tricky. So I'll bring it in and show you. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about lithograph. I thought lithograph, I guess that was my mistake. What is it? What are the rubber mats? The like when you carve out the big rubber mats and then have those for prints, is that lithography too?
No,
Or is it
that's
just
that's
stamping?
just linoleum.
This
Carving. Those are
just those big
carved
huge
printing.
rubber stamps
Yeah.
that you get that you carve out and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's linoleum. That's like old school floor linoleum, same stuff. And you carve out of that. That's-
Floor linoleum? Is that I remember they're like pads like that that are just like rubber pads. Like, that's how linoleum stuff
Yeah, it's
works?
linoleum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's
same-
what I thought
same
lithograph
material.
was, but I didn't
I'm
know.
getting you a fucking bow tie, and you're doing a science
Hey,
segment
hey,
every goddamn week
I
now.
love the
I
idea
have
of
a bow
having
tie in
though.
my
I've been
car,
so into
I
like
did it.
casting and molding lately that like I just love the idea of the lithograph to have to be able to just continually make prints on
I
your
can
own.
still
And
look
it
at
never
it.
distorts, never
Yeah,
changes.
I got one of
That's
those
a- it's
fucking
really
rock.
cool.
Smart stuff.
Fun
That's dope.
science
I love
corner.
it.
Smart stuff for fun.
I'd love to have.
I just had a
science
great
corner.
lesson.
Yeah.
We're getting you a white lab coat.
We're doing a.
I'm gonna grab
Can it
you
be
a
tie dyed? Can I have a tie dyed
No,
lab coat?
it's about to be white.
I
How
gotta
about we
figure out
start
way
with
to
a
get
white
it
lab
out.
coat?
I gotta figure out a way to get the lab coat out of work without them noticing, and then
Hey,
yes, you can keep
Hey,
it.
the easiest way to do that is not say it on a recorded broadcast.
Hmm.
It's a lab coat.
I'm just kidding. We can get a lab coat off Amazon
Yeah.
in 2 minutes and have it
We're
here
like a
tomorrow.
secondhand place
And
that does.
probably tie dye. Please
I
don't
mean,
steal
there
stuff
are
from your
places here in
diamond place
Columbus
for
that
us.
sell scrubs and medical clothing and things like that. Sure,
I've
good.
walked out with it on without thinking about it. I definitely
Let's
have.
try and wink. You don't worry.
Don't wink at me.
You love
You're gonna
it.
make me
You're
laugh.
right. What? Why are you boys
They're
all
both
winking at each other?
I know.
You're the
It's a
Sorry.
winky kind of night. I don't know. It's rainy outside. It's been boring a lot. You know.
Happy fall,
I haven't
everybody.
seen Ben in a
Happy
while.
fall. I know. I miss my Jordan.
Happy to see Ben.
Yeah.
Same Z's.
I'd
I
be
was
down
worried
for
you
a
weren't going to
science
be able to
corner,
come
though.
on. Ben got a new job.
Been
He's
doing
doing new
these
things,
jobs.
so
What are
he
you
hasn't
doing?
been able to join us as much.
I started working for a plumbing company, writing estimates and helping in the inside office and learning how to bid jobs and things along those lines. But I've never done anything like that. So we're basically starting at the beginning. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool opportunity to start on the ground floor. They actually recently had a fire at their office, so all of their information for the computer systems got lost. So my first
Oh, wow.
job is to learn the computer system well enough to input all the plumbing data in it to be able to write estimates. So it's a pretty cool opportunity. I'm excited.
That's
about it.
awesome, man.
But it's kind of half office, half field, which is
Okay.
perfect for me.
That's good.
So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited about it. But it's definitely a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Mm.
Not so loosey-goosey schedule like routine. But hey, it'll be fun. I'm
Mhm.
excited. It's a great opportunity. So
That's awesome, man.
pumped up.
And he
Yes.
just randomly met this guy through like looking for parts for his motorcycle. Isn't that funny how universe works? Or did you already know him?
No, I knew Don.
Oh, you already know him?
Yeah, I've known him for a few years. We've been back and forth and we've met and know a jabillion of the same people. So yeah, it was just cool to actually sit down and get to meet the real him and hang out. And I'm excited about it.
Oh yeah.
Very excited. Should be good.
Happy for you, man.
It's nice. It's nice. Thank you. Thank you. But that means regular schedule. I don't know what that's about. So guess we'll figure it out.
Figuring it out.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Sorry to just kill podcasts, but yeah. I feel like it just stopped. Like
I'm just concentrating on this little blizzard I'm making. I actually had some questions for Devin.
uh-oh.
I just kind of want to pick your brain about just making jewelry and stuff. I've definitely dabbled in jewelry design, and when I first started tattooing, one of the things that was like my favorite to look at rather than pulling out books of flash is I'd pull up like pictures of like Gothic and Victorian jewelry a lot. So like when I'd be doing like different shapes and scroll work and things like that, I'd be just like robbing it right out of antique jewelry. And then once you start talking about like Art Nouveau jewelry from like the 20s and 30s, then you've got different shapes of danglies and chandeliers. And like since I started tattooing, that actually became a trend and a style and a thing. So, that's not the path I went down, but I was so ahead of the time.
But it's cool when you can incorporate it into the style you went down.
Yeah, one of the things for me as a tattooer, I've always had that, like, you're wearing it. It's a decorative thing, it's an
Mhm.
ornamental thing, and it's something worth talking about. And like, it's got to be some of the same process, and it's got to be some of the same like pressures and like creative struggles when you're making like a custom piece of jewelry that like is going to end up being an heirloom piece. Have you done anything like that yet?
I've worked on a lot of heirloom pieces. I haven't made anything that I would consider for myself to be, heirloom quality.
That's still got to be special working on one that already exists too, though, huh?
It is to an extent. At the other time, the other hand is I'm also shitting my pants because, this is, regardless of how much the ring is worth, it's also, 150, 200 years old. Maybe not quite that old, but it's not something that I can just go out into the store, pull out of the case and replace because I just fucked it up. It's then I have to get a hold of either the store or the guest and be like, sorry, don't kill me. We can we can send this out to get a CAD remade of it. And you know, have it casted brand new, but it's not gonna be it's not gonna be the original anymore. So
Can you
there's
melt
definitely
the same
that.
gold and use it in the cast?
Not typically. Sometimes, I feel like sometimes people have, but I don't think the integrity of the metal would be there as it would with if you use new
Mhm.
gold.
Makes sense.
You'd have to re-refine it at the end of the day, to really kind of if you really wanted to reuse it. But I do kind of look at jewelry the same way that, you know, I look at you guys as painters and tattoo artists as well. I mean, making art in any kind of medium, jewelry included, I look at it as you're essentially, uh, you're creating, building, and designing a 1,000 piece puzzle all at once. And I that's kind of what really drew me to it. And I just chose to work with metal instead of paint at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But I am actually like, I really want to start working with CADs just to, I feel like jewelry is eventually
For all
gonna
of us that
start.
don't know what a CAD is, back that up and repeat.
Hmm.
What's CAD?
Like, I believe it's computer animated design. Essentially, you're taking a grid on a computer and you're designing a ring or a pendant or, you know, anything that you want. You're just designing it in a three-dimensional model on a computer
Gotcha.
instead of, you know, when in physical metal.
The opposite way would be like you start with a piece of wax, you make the jewelry out of the piece of wax,
Right,
and then you basically pour the metal into the cast from that wax.
right. So instead of, essentially, I would be skipping the step of carving the wax. I'd be making the design on a computer.
But
And
this would be
then-
cool because then, like, we've talked about some of the things that Jordan's done with his VR. In theory, you could go in and you could stand and you could design a ring that was 8 feet tall and you could just sculpt it by hand.
Yep.
And then you end up 3D printing that, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I believe it's a
Could create a cast out of that,
I believe it's a
probably.
CLA printer, whatever the resin printers are called. It essentially, instead of printing from the bottom up, it prints from the top down in essentially a vat of resin that's rocking back and forth. But it's a special kind of filament that they use that is castable, like in instances such as lost wax, where you're essentially just melting, you're making a mold over the wax and then you're melting the wax out. And then there's a couple different methods of actually like putting the metal into the mold. I know one is centrifugal, where they essentially just get the metal they melt the metal into a liquid and essentially just spin the mold really quick and shoot the metal
Like a
into
big
it.
centrifuge.
So-
Like a
so-
centrifuge.
Yeah, so the way I've done it, we just had like a we just
It's
had like
fucking
this
wild.
little
Your
like
face when you said it was the best. Shit.
That's literally what those things are like, though. It's kind of fun. They like wind up hardcore, and like you got the mold in the center or whatever, and you got your, you know, whatever you're casting with in one area. Pull that shit and then let it go, and it just spins
It's
super
almost like a
fast and
slingshot.
shoots it right into it. Or I think it's the opposite. You put it in the center, and then it shoots out to the edge of it, which would where your mold would be.
that explains and makes sense on how like a lot of like
Uh,
hollow jewelry is made then. It was probably thrown in a centrifugal instead of like one of the vibrating like shakers.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
There's also like if you look at old Victorian jewelry, there's also, you might know what it's called, but it's made out of tree sap. Like there's this wax that they used, and they would actually like fill silver jewelry with that, so it would feel heavy, but it was actually like a pine resin. I can't remember what it's called though. You'll see it in like silver, like hand mirrors, brushes, things like that.
Filigree?
It's not amber yet. It's what would basically turn into amber, but it's got a specific name.
Should
It's
it
still
turn into
workable and
amber
meltable.
inside the silver?
I mean, kind of. I mean, that's kind of the goal, is to fill it to make it feel heavy and durable, so you don't have like this thin, delicate silver thing that's going to dent every time it taps anything.
Yeah.
Hmm.
My
I can't think of what
knowledge
it's
of
called.
metalwork is pretty gosh darn low,
I can
guys. I'm
tell
just
you-
gonna throw it out there.
I could tell you some secrets that would make your head spin. So
My head is already spinning.
This has ended up being a
He
super.
said, I can't tell you right now.
now.
There's microphones on.
And cameras.
As you
Don't forget the
reminded me
cameras.
earlier.
Look, I just winked at somebody else. It is a winking kind of day. What's going on? What'd you start?
I thought it was just between you and me.
Not anymore.
It's never been a secret.
I thought either.
I'm
Like, I got
sorry, I
school.
don't think I can do it right.
I feel I like I kind of
I
wrinkle my whole
You
face
look
up.
like Pirate Fawn.
Hey, you gotta wink.
I just pushed my cheek up.
You gotta shoot it.
I
Like,
can definitely wink, but I'm more of a blinker, sir.
I'll blink at you.
Things you say.
It's funny though. That's what I do with my cat. Though I'll look him right in the eye.
Just give him a
The
hard
cats will do that alternating, like right, left, blink.
My dog will. Ian will. He'll blink at you.
Yeah.
He's always done that. I'm like, you know something.
They do. They know a lot.
Your son, you're not telling me. He'll look at me and be like,
Mhm.
like, yeah.
I hear you, cat.
Right. Wink if you have the mind of a human.
Ah. No, my cat looks at me and goes. "Bleh." the
Oh.
only time she wants anything, she's like, "Hey,
Oh.
you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to yak this fucking hair wad onto whatever comfortable situation you've got going on. You on the couch? Hair wad. You in the bed? Hair wad. You in the shower? Hey, bitch, you're stepping in a hair wad. We're gonna get right out of it."
That's funny.
Oh, God.
You're so dramatic. Look, so I was
a cat.
I
I
was-
might want to consider brushing it once in a while. Like, you
Dude,
know,
just get it
Come on.
shaped like a lion.
Come
I'll
on,
come
Eric.
brush your cat.
You can brush the cat
I
as much as you want.
I will.
No, fuck this.
It might help. I'll just say it.
Hard out.
Just have somebody just have a professional shaver like a lion.
Shave for like a line. Yes, that
I've
looks
heard that's
amazing.
like actually kind of cool.
Oh, really?
I don't know the right
Oh, no.
words. but
My old roommate's cat
I've been
loved
told-
going
I
to the
asked-
groomers.
I was like, "Can I shave the cat?" And somebody was like, "I think that's what you're supposed to do." And
I mean, like, if you have
and
a
then I thought
professional
about it.
groomer doing it, I
I
feel
have
like
my
they know
dog
what they're
shaved. They're
doing.
golden doodles. If I didn't, they'd have like
Unless it was
afros
cold.
out to here.
If it was like an outdoor
Yeah, I
cat,
don't shave them. In
like if your cat goes outside and you shave that cat,
Yeah.
that's a bad idea.
No,
That's
if
dumb.
it's-
So
if
there's
it's
no
an
pro-
indoor cat
no
that's just
protection and
sitting
get
there
hypothermia at
collecting
night.
dreadlocks.
Yeah.
No, she's not dready, but probably because she's grooming herself all the
Yeah,
time.
and
I can
that's-
hear both on my
Giving
phone.
you the
Sure.
hair
Yeah.
balls.
Hence the, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Decisions.
What-
Anybody want a cat?
No.
She's
I have-
fluffy.
I have two of
She's
my own.
cuddly. No, I'm
I
just
have
kidding.
one.
I would be
don't
murdered
think
if I
she's
got
like
a
it.
cat.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we have no more pets in our house. We actually just found a new home for one of our snakes yesterday.
Mhm.
She was beautiful, but she had to go. She was eating rats. They were like the size of my small dog. And
Do you,
That's
do you
getting
feel that
sketchy.
snakes
It's just-
actually
but
have?
we were out of our league.
Do you
Yeah.
feel that snakes are like as a pet? Do you think that snakes are actually capable of feeling affection
No,
for you?
No,
No.
no, not
They
at all.
give no
No,
shits.
they
They
literally-
your face.
That's what
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I've had a
Yeah.
lot of snakes and I've had a lot of lizards. Bearded dragons make me feel like they're onto something. I
Really?
like bearded dragons for
They're
sure.
onto
Like
something.
like my bearded dragon,
We
he
should
used to
have
go
this.
like I would walk past his tank and you know what he'd do to
He'd
me?
watch you?
He'd watch me. He'd go,
Hey, what up, G?
The guinea pigs do that. When I walk past the guinea pigs cage, they come to the bars and they're like, they want
they're
food.
smart. They
They
catch on.
weep for food. It's hilarious.
Aw.
But affection, that's a different thing. I've
Yeah.
never felt affection from
No,
any of my snakes ever. I feel like they
seek out
like.
warmth.
I feel like you can anthropomorphize or whatever
Yeah,
them really
definitely.
well and like or whatever. Or maybe that's not the
Jordan,
right word.
what did we talk about fucking more than 3 syllables?
Where you put, where you put
Podcast.
human characteristics on animals
Thank you,
or
sir.
vice versa.
You know better than that. Caveman words for pen.
Yes, that's why you ask the question though, because then we hear the word, we ask the question,
Yeah.
as opposed to having,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Gotta break it down
Countless
for me.
people out
Thank you,
there.
teacher.
also known as anthropomorphizing.
I'm here to learn, guys.
But-
Is
I'm
that
just
an
saying.
adjective or a verb?
Well, what are we talking about now?
Oh, snaky piss.
One of
Oh
our
yeah,
snakes
no, I
we
feel
had,
like we think that we can feel.
Yeah. One
we
of our
think we
snakes
want to
give
feel
us
that.
Human emotions too.
Like they'll
eat
curl
you
up
never
close
do.
to you, they'll get your warmth
Yeah.
and stuff, and they'll hang out by you. They'll
Yeah.
put their face on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
all your
not love.
warmness.
See, I feel
But
the
I don't
same
think
way-
it's love.
No, it's not love.
I
feel
think
the
it's
same
even,
way
you
about the
know,
dog
they might be
sometimes.
sizing you up too.
It's not
like-
love. And
If
when
you
you
They're
get
sitting
stop
there
tagged
like,
by one
one
of
day,
the
one day that fucking nose is
Do what?
mine.
You
Right.
stop feeding the dog, does it still love you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
she does. You can kick her down the stairs, she'd still love you.
Isn't
I think
it-
dogs
isn't
have
it
an
true
innate
that,
dependence
I've
on
been bit
humans.
too many times. I don't know.
Isn't it true that like if you were to
I was
die
bitten once by a dog.
3 days after not being fed, wouldn't your cat? Isn't your
Oh,
cat
your
gonna
cat
start
would
to
totally.
eat you?
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
your
your
dogs.
cat-
I
Cats-
think,
cats-
Your
cats
cat
do.
will eat your
I feel
face
like-
while you're asleep.
Yeah.
I feel like my
100%.
cat loves me, but like at the same time, I feel like she also just doesn't give a shit.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, if we
It's
were
cat.
small, our cat will test us once in a while. She'll just come up if she's in a wild mood and she'll just bite us.
You
Just to
alive?
kind of see if she
Yeah?
can break through the
Damn.
skin.
yeah.
I have no doubt she would eat us.
You're like, my cat would taste.
Yeah.
Yes,
She
she would.
purrs and
Are you
she
dead
purrs
yet?
and she loves us, but she would also eat us. No doubt.
Although
No doubt.
my
I find that
grandmother,
hilarious.
I
my
feel like
grandmother just got a dog, golden doodle,
Oh, that's what we have.
and she was walking him one day and fell down and like hurt her face
Oh.
pretty bad. And this dog ran to one of the neighbors' houses
Mm-hmm.
and got the neighbor's attention, like got him out of his house so that he could
I
come and
have
help
no
her out.
doubt. They're like little lassies.
Aw. My dog would just stand there and bark at me. Are you dumb? Get up! Your face is bleeding. You should fix it. Get
come
up!
at ya.
You can't fix it on the floor.
Come on, dude, you're
Come
good.
on.
You're all right. Let's
Come
go.
on. I'm gonna drag you home. Just leave me there.
I feel
I need
like
a lassie in my life.
I'm pretty confident
have
my
one.
animals would not
Oh,
eat me.
she
I feel
has
like they
some
would
business.
mourn.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
eat you. I think the grieving
They
process
would lay down
and
on
hunger is a short
you.
line.
They would lay on you until the warmth was gone, and then they'd be like, all right, dinner time.
You know what she is now
Right.
is spoiling.
Probably wait a day or two till they're not getting fed, and it's just you're just an inanimate object to it.
I don't think so. I feel like there are.
I think
Have you
Google
ever been
can answer
dead?
this for us.
I haven't been dead before, but I feel like
But
with
did you
my
die?
animals in particular, there's such a strong pack mentality, and usually, unless you're talking about like hyenas, like they don't eat pack mates. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on how hungry they are, I guess.
Yeah.
Do they really not?
I think
Are you
Miss can
sure?
eat my face. She
What?
had no qualms with
They
Are
it.
don't
you,
eat their
wait, are
pancakes
you
when they die?
anthropomorphizing?
No, that would be like cannibalistic. You'll see, like it's meat. Jump in.
Better than kibble.
This is
I would hate
delicious.
to just be like a spirit floating above my body, just
Just
watching
watching
my
the
dog
cats, like,
just
eat your
eat
finger.
me. Just like, come on,
I'd be
dude.
like, children, if you must, eat. Gotta eat to live, right?
Right, I'll live forever as the people in the backyard.
Fuck off my body, kitty kitty. You can die of starvation in the corner.
Not the tattoo dog, not the tattoo dog.
Save that one.
Can
Save
you
that one.
imagine being at your funeral and like just your shit just chewed? They give you the Phantom of the Opera
It's like
mask and lay down like,
Cat nods.
well, at least Lacey got a last one.
This got so awful.
On
Somewhere we took a turn.
on a better note, it's a very affectionate animal or species of animals.
Horses.
The birds.
Oh.
Horses, yes.
Yeah, birds. will
Horses
eat
for
you too,
sure.
though.
Birds would.
I bet they would
I
eat you.
expect a bird to eat
Hey.
me or
They
my
will
dog.
love
First
you
thing
as
that
well.
bird's going for is the eye too.
Yeah.
I've had
Squishy
some
beaks.
cockatiels and parakeets
I
that
had
like
a Quaker parrot. That was awesome. I had her for 10 years. She was amazing.
I bet he wanted all the
But she
affection.
would have eaten me. In fact, I have a scar. She did eat me one time. She bit my finger and then she laughed and laughed and laughed. And I walked out of the room and I could just hear her laughing. And I walked back in the room and she stopped laughing. And then she picked up my piece of finger, which was like on her cage, and she just started chewing it right in front of me and laughing and chewing. I was like, oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
I got
So
me a
evil.
snack. What up?
up?
I'm not gonna waste it. I'm
It's
fucking
you.
everything.
Look at
Right.
this.
So I was like, yeah, I mean, that is not cool.
That's
Growing
like
up-
watching a psychopath
It
form. You're
pretty
like,
much is.
oh
And she
my
was
God.
like this. Oh, she used to bite children and laugh. She was awful.
laugh.
She would make this little baby voice, baby bird, and call people over to her cage, like baby bird, in the big eyes, and then as soon as they came, she would bite them, and then she
Oh
would
my
laugh.
God, dude.
That's
This bird
hilarious.
was evil.
We had
What?
an Amazon.
What were
Bluefront
you
growing
watching
up.
when this bird was learning its habits?
Just, she was just.
That is
A lot of
sassy.
sounds of the
so
lambs. What's going on there?
Yeah, I know. She was-
That's awesome.
We had an Amazon Bluefront when I was growing up, and his
Love
name
that
was Gunner.
intelligence.
He was awesome. They're like, if you don't know what they are, they're like the size of an African gray, so they're like a medium-sized parrot. And he definitely had like a personality of his own. He had favorite foods. He had people that he liked, he didn't like, what have you. He was free range. He had a large cage, but the cage was always open and he could come and go as he pleased.
Free range.
His
Just like
wings were
that.
not clipped,
I like
so he
that
could
saying.
fly throughout the house. He
You had
could
a
literally,
house flying bird
yeah,
that just kicked it.
yeah. After he was
That's
like
just-
6 months, after we had him
How
for
do you-
like 6 months, we didn't.
You guys
put
make
his
my
wings on.
childhood sound so boring.
How do you keep a bird that just flies random like around the house? As
They
it
mostly
wants?
stay on top of their cage.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
how do you
he
keep that
had-
thing
he
from
had, like-
shitting all over
Did
the
he have a
house?
dedicated pooping perch? Or did he poop everywhere?
Yeah, he
How-
really
what's
did.
gonna
My man
stop-
goes
I hear
straight
that.
to that.
I hear
That was
that.
not okay.
I hear
Like,
that.
what are you gonna
Yeah,
do
I
if you're
know.
like sitting there cooking dinner and this bird just comes up and lands on like the vent above the
Oh.
stove?
Make
and
sure you're-
shits on
See,
your
this is one
steak?
thing I learned about. I don't mean to distract from that story, but I learned about bird people is they become completely nonchalant about bird shit.
Yeah.
And
Same
it
with
becomes
dog people.
everywhere. And it's like, it's just a
My
little thing
dog-
there. And like when I had birds, I was the same way. And then I noticed everyone else, it's like birds is like that. And then as soon as I didn't have a bird, I was like, oh, that's kind of gross.
Salmonella everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the same with dogs. It's the same with cats. As soon
Yeah.
as you have this animal, you
Little
agree to
poop
handle
right
its
here or
feces.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on a poop handle contract. As soon as you enter into any animal,
Yeah.
you're like hamster. I gotta handle your fucking shit.
Story.
Every
Yeah.
A
we
living
had-
being is a pooping being.
What
Yeah.
what animal can I get that I don't have to deal with this poop?
Snakes are awesome because they only
Snails.
poop like once a month.
But
Snails.
water changes.
Yeah,
That's dealing with poop.
it's true.
Water change.
I have
But-
fun with water changes though. I don't have fun picking up Ian's poop.
Just done with poop.
But our bird, I
You
mean,
get an
on the,
outdoor
the
raccoon,
poop
maybe
question,
not.
on the
What?
poop
You get an
question, he
outdoor
was
raccoon
pretty,
to imprint on you.
right,
And
right.
then you wouldn't have to deal with its poop.
yeah,
Take
he,
him
he
with
went
bare
right back to
hands.
the cage, and the other areas throughout the house were like his perch and chilling spots, but like he ate and did this business in the cage, and you know. it
So
was
essentially, you
pretty-
created an outhouse for him.
That he slept it.
I mean, yeah. But anyways, so we digress. That was not the point of bringing up the parrot. So anyways,
Oh,
so Gunner was cool. Gunner was great. He was easy to get along with. If he liked you, you were cool to hold him. If he didn't like you, don't press it because he will bite you. But you're gonna get warnings. It's not gonna come out of nowhere. So anyways, we also had German Shepherds. We had 6 acres, so there was plenty of room for dogs and everything to come and go as they pleased. So Sheena, our oldest German Shepherd, was just chilling, minding her own business. She's like laying on the floor, panting, as content as can be. She lays her head down, takes a nap. Then Gunner, mind you, wings aren't clipped. He can fly. He can do anything he wants. He slides down the pole of his bird cage, and then he walks like he sneaks. He like walks over to where Sheena's sleeping, and he like looks at her, make sure she's asleep, and then he goes over by her ear. I think he's gonna do something sweet. He clamps down on her ear, and then as she wakes up and is coming to, and is like, "What happened?" He's doesn't fly back to his cage. He's
Oh my
like,
God.
so he's like trucking it across the floor back to the cage and crawls back up. Could have flown. Chose to
What
creep.
kind of outcome was he hoping for?
I'm just
I think he
demonstrating
won.
that he was a jerk.
Right.
They like drama.
He
They
was
like
a
drama.
jerk.
They like yelling
Yeah,
and screaming and
he was-
laughing and
He was
Testing
definitely
all
bored.
boundaries.
yeah.
Everybody was chilling and like he clearly was
He
like,
wanted a
"What can
little
I do?"
excitement.
That's exactly what it
Yeah,
was.
I know.
Just minding her own business, unprovoked,
That's so funny.
sleeping even. Chomp.
Chop.
Chill day. Chomp.
Gotcha.
I'm good on that for now.
Then it's down to just us.
Fine. God.
Just gonna make try to twist your arm about it.
I'll sleep later. It's fine. Just take a nap.
We're back to naps.
2:33. I'm gonna be like,
We're back to naps.
okay, guys. Have a good one. We reached the quota of sleepiness allotted for one show. 99.
99.
Much love.
Devin,
Yes, I'm Devin.
That's the name. Okay, so you guys, for the sake of the frame, should both scoot like this way.
Oh,
Just
really?
like a little bit. Because Devin's got this camera like right in his facial region. And it's just like so close
Oh,
to being
yeah.
in frame that the photographer slash camera guy in me.
videographer.
That's the word I'm looking for. It drives me nuts. Puppy.
His tongue doesn't want to.
Neon,
Yeah, move, baby.
Come on,
Neon,
buddy.
you got
Come on.
Yeah,
Good
you
job,
gotta,
Mark.
let me not put your
Everybody.
booty on camera. I'll switch.
There we
that.
go.
My bad, bro.
Just moved.
Everybody knows they're blue.
I see London. I see-
So what
Yeah,
we
there we
haven't
go. That
gotten
was
to,
so much
Devin,
better. I'm sorry I mentioned that
is-
an hour ago.
who have you collected tattoos from?
Oh, it's a tattoo show. That's
Oh
right.
yeah, that's right. We're talking about tattoos. Tattoos and stuff.
Let's talk about your
So-
tattoos.
I've got my right arm is pretty much fully covered from Adam France at this point. We've got, I think, one more session, maybe 1.5.
It's looking so good.
Mm,
That means 7, right?
It's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. It's
I was gonna say, well, he'll see me in 2 years and be like, I wanna add something
Let's
to
just
this. or
let's just
something.
do a
Yeah.
polisher layer.
I was gonna say, so realistically, it could turn into something, 10 more sessions over the next 25 years or so.
He hasn't said it yet, but I'm sure the day is gonna come where he'll be like, let's get back into your leg, pop some contrast in there. It'll come. It's just bound to happen.
And then Richard Cook did my left forearm.
I've got Richard Cook's script. I thought I was the only person in the world that had Richard Cook's script.
Not that special then.
Wow. Wow, we've gone from winking to one another to snarky.
thanks, my
Gotten downright snarky in here. I feel like we're just the commentators today.
Almost.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then I've got a piece on my left calf that Mika Eversole has also been working on, and that's a piece based off of a movie and a manga called Akira, which was, I believe the movie came out in the 80s, but we're gonna slowly work into it like an anime leg, and then my butt cheek's gonna be a splatty smiley face.
Yay. A splat cheek, if you will.
The reason I want that is just so that like when I'm 70, I can moon people and it'll be frowning at them.
Nice. Good logic, man. Good logic.
So
I don't know if it's gonna hold up.
What's
But
the Robin Williams joke? In the 90s, it was barbed wire, and in the 80s, it's a fucking picket fence.
But and then I've got one of my ribs from a guy that was working at Short North Tattoo. That was my first one. I was like 17. That's a tribute to my dog that passed away. Never caught that guy's name. And then I've got another one on my chest that's
that which shall not be mentioned.
we're not gonna talk about that. I got that from a guy in Wet Hall, and I also did not catch his name. I was 18 and decided I wanted to go get poked. And well, now
Give
we're
me
here.
that chest tattoo, blasty on the whim.
I'm gonna throw
Right.
it out there. I'm just
Give me
gonna
the
do
scab
it.
boys and free my
Devin-
soul.
Don't do it.
Devin
So
may or
do
may
it.
not have the mark of the juggalo.
He said, "Don't tell him about it. Don't do it. Some
If
people
you
don't
know,
know."
if you know, you know.
Yeah. No, it was.
So what is it?
Just
Justin?
There was a different time in my life.
It was a different time in all of our lives. And then we looked around and you're like, oh, wait, people are taking this shit seriously? Never mind. Delete. Abort. Wait. No, what? You think this? It's a joke. They're fucking clowns, you dumb pieces of. Oh, no. Oh, no.
That was pretty much
What
where
has
I was at.
happened?
So my buddy Rick, who's been on the show,
Yeah.
Rick Rain, he's performed with them. He's like, they're actually really cool guys. If
I'm
you
sure
can get
they
past
are.
the
Sure they
craziness
are.
of the
I'm
people
sure
that
they
follow
are.
them.
But it's not, like he just said, it's not the people that are like dressed up as clowns. It's the people that are taking it seriously.
Yeah, there's this whole subculture of people that are like
Like
Scary.
Die Hard, like
So-
kilogram
Little
junkies.
too
So, okay,
Little
okay,
too intense for a clown band.
let's differentiate the two types of followers that we're talking about.
All right.
One part would be like perfectly normal human beings that just like occasionally listen to their music because it like makes you laugh.
That
And,
was
like,
hilarious.
Yeah. And then there are the backyard wrestlers that listen to their
Yeah,
music.
you know the guys that hit each other, the guys that hit each other in the face with stop signs. There's those people in the crowd too.
It's a lot.
Like I will be honest with you, if you like the best place to ever like if you ever want to get good people watching, go to a fucking clown show.
Yeah.
Like it really is a
I can
blast.
imagine.
It's a lot of fun.
When I was
But it's
tattooing
really
at
Spray
Studio
some spray
13,
deodorant.
I was gonna say, but at the end of the day, there's just it wasn't. It really wasn't the music that like ruined it for me. It was more just like the people that, like he said, took it way too seriously.
Yeah.
for sure.
I
When I-
just kind of wanted, didn't really.
I would
Really vibe
sing
with
along
that.
to 3/4 of the stuff you put on now because it's still hilarious. But at the same point, it was like, guys, I just can't carry that vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I'll laugh with you in the background and I applaud the fucking show, man. Like, you guys took it to that level. You created this whole thing and you didn't know it was going to happen. You didn't know it was going to happen. I'm not mad at you for this as well.
now it's a complete
No, it's a whole
subculture.
Like,
I'm proud of you for doing your thing, but I can't.
You haven't laughed until you've seen somebody just take a full 2 liter of diet root beer flying into their face.
That
on
was
the
a good
stage,
time.
dude.
That was a good time.
Like you're sitting there moshing and all of a sudden just 2 liter to the side of your face.
Oh, when I was tattooing at Studio 13 in Columbus, there is a venue called the Newport Music Hall, and it's
Yeah.
a fantastic venue. And directly behind there was a little tattoo shop and head shop. It happened to be where I worked. So there were many times where like the buses for whoever was playing would be parked out front. Like it was really easy just to walk outside and meet and see whoever and see the fans of whoever.
And then one time.
Twisted and ICP
Yeah.
were at the Newport.
Oh.
It was a night show, okay?
Did
So
you
at the
tattoo
butt
them?
crack of no, I did not. But the butt crack of as early as I could get to the shop, there were already people lined up everywhere. Multicolored hair. Smelled as if most of them probably hadn't bathed in a week. No
Yeah.
judgment, just describing the scene.
Smelled
Just
like
describing the
sausage
scene.
Fucking
fingers.
looks.
Face paint everywhere. Face paint everywhere. Badly twisted hair with like rubber bands and beads that didn't make sense. Some of these people may or may not have had Elmer's glue in their hair. Now,
some
let's
lady made putting Gorilla Glue in her hair famous a little bit ago, so
On
it's
TikTok.
cool.
this
We've been
is
using glue for mohawks since the 90s. I don't know where y'all.
this is like 11 a.m.
Right.
This is like 11
She's like,
a.m.
no, I haven't had coffee yet.
Yeah,
I'm not awake for this bullshit.
yeah. Like I didn't really smoke weed at the time. Like, I mean, I did, but I didn't. Not
Yeah.
when I worked. Like,
You weren't mentally prepared for the things.
I
that you were
was
about to
there.
do
There was
constantly.
no mental preparation for what I walked into. There was also no escaping it. And because we were a head shop, one of two, they were like price bouncing between the two. Who had the coolest like $15 china bowls? And it's like, you're getting face paint all over everything. Your FUBU stuff is rubbing off. I can't. I can't.
I want a hoodie so bad now. Is that what you meant by rubbing off?
Fubu and Jinkos.
It was
man.
like
Hey,
FUBU.
hey,
Jinkos.
hey.
This was after the Jinkos. This was
They got
after
nothing
the
to do with
Jinkos.
Jinkos.
Did you see the Jinkos are making a comeback?
They are. They're
Yeah.
trying to.
You know what I loved about
You
Jinko
can, if you go to their
jeans?
website, you can get a new pair
I
of
felt
Jinkos.
like I looked like a cartoon character when I wore them, and that's why I loved them. But I don't know if everybody else realized that,
He
like,
secretly
looked
has
like
a pair in his closet.
secretly.
It's not a secret anymore.
My favorite thing is when they show the commercials of the kids hiding guns. And they had on like a pair of Jinkos and they're like pulling like machine guns out. They're like, your kid
Samurai
could potentially
swords.
be carrying 38 weapons inside these humongous jeans. You're like, yes. And
But-
couldn't walk.
There we go.
You want me to walk into a school?
Right. Have you ever seen a pair of Jinko jeans where they're at the bottoms of them are actually
Him.
there and not just completely tore
Walked
out,
on.
big, huge like
Yeah, they were called
ribs
ribs.
on them?
That was on day one. Because by
Day
the time you
one.
got home on day one, at least.
So you can't walk in these things. How are you gonna fit 35 guns in
Exactly. I only took 2.
there? Right,
I'm just
right,
kidding.
5 at the most.
5.
I mean, this is how I'm
35.
making my belt. could fit,
35, that's just
depending on the
crazy.
caliper.
That's just crazy. Kind of
Yeah, it was always funny to me though. My favorite ones were the UFO pants. Like the parachute pants that like joined at the bottom and you tied them off a cord. They were like super poofy and then like cargo pockets.
I mean, people
French
wore them,
pants?
but I couldn't get down with it.
Oh, so mean. That was my gig.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
so,
comfy, right?
so fucking comfy.
Mhm.
They're like the little gypsy pants everybody wears now, but not as gypsy pantsy.
more MC Hammery.
More like
More-
more like
More
space like
yeah.
space rave.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Were
Give me,
they
my,
shimmery?
give me my fuzzy Kangol hat. We're there. I fucking miss it. 2002. Where you at?
Ben's heart lives
Oh
in
my god, that's
2002.
hilarious. I feel like that was a good year.
It was. I graduated that year. Yay, high school. Kangol hats were the thing.
Oh,
I may have owned several.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
bet you did.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
It's all good. But UFO pants, way better than Jinkos.
I like the sound of
They
them.
were lighter. Didn't feel like you were carrying like.
Weren't they like ripstop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Ripstop was Ripstop.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe they still exist too.
I think they do.
They're like super expensive now.
The 90s are super coming back right now.
I have mixed feelings about it.
So what you're
You
saying
remember
is
the,
now
you
is the
remember
time to
jazz-
start the
the jazz,
2000s
like
bands,
this
cover
one, It was
bands.
like the teal with the little.
Because
purple
That'll
line.
come next.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of glass blowers that I've
Nice,
seen
yeah.
that have been that have been bringing that color, that
Mhm.
whole pattern back just with pipes,
Yep.
and I've been enjoying the shit out of it.
Oh, nostalgia. There's a page that I've been following on Instagram that I thoroughly enjoy called like Only 90s Kids Know.
It's all Cabbage Patch Kids and Care Bears.
That's more 80s. We're talking about like Ren and Stimpy. We're
Cow and
talking about
Chicken.
like when Nickelodeon used
Okay,
to
so
have
we
like
were
the
poor,
action adventure
So in the 90s,
days.
we were watching old shit.
Fair.
So, I mean,
I mean, I got down with the classics too.
classics.
We were just talking about Fantasia today at breakfast.
Truth.
Like,
But in comparison to a horrible musical, so, there was references. There needs to be context. We were just like, so you remember that part in Fantasia where the hip hop rode the fucking
Yes, I do
It wasn't just like straight into it. You know?
I mean, I do have a lot of conversations that start out very similarly
okay,
to that.
Okay. Imagine this scene, right? Hip hop. Do you remember the background with the pillar and the arch? Tattoo that on my face.
Got you. Say no more.
All right, done.
Bro, say
Size of
less.
size of a city.
Please say less. So, I'm gonna
Fantasia face tatties. Who's in?
Fantasia tattoo, yes. On my face, probably.
Never
not.
seen Fantasia.
I'm
Oh,
in
it's a
agreement.
classic.
Jordan.
With the Mickey
Seriously, dude?
Sorcerer's
It's
Apprentice?
I'm gonna
classic.
put the camera on you so everybody
I
can
know
see.
characters.
I'm just gonna for shame you.
Shame.
How have you never seen?
We're gonna have to
Fantasia
watch
yet?
it. I'm gonna
I
find
got
the
the
streaming
VHS.
Sincerely
network.
I
didn't
got the
grow-
VHS and a VCR.
I was sheltered.
I'm
And I have
sheltered.
Fantasia 2000.
Just kidding.
So-
That was it.
When in
I
Columbus,
just happened to skip
we
some
had
things.
a Mariflora. Do you remember Mariflora? Does anybody else remember Mariflora?
I'm a little young for that. I
Was
think.
it like a show? Like a.
It was like a
animal
garden,
show?
right?
Oh,
And they
okay.
carved all the animals from Fantasia
Oh.
into like these big like figure green fucking.
Ooh.
And so
Topiaries.
thanks, Fawn.
You're welcome.
She's the big word queen. I just start describing things with like 3-letter words, and she's like, and I'm like, nice. it's a good symbiotic relationship. See that? That was a big word.
That was a
But
good one.
in Columbus, that was a huge thing. It was a big major attraction. It had like took the whole Columbus Convention Center, not Convention Center. What's the garden where the butterflies are now?
Oh,
Like
Franklin Park
conservatory.
Conservatory. Thank you, wrong C word. And it was like it was a whole mess of stuff. But the biggest thing there was Fantasia. So like that was what they paid the most money for, so they advertised the most, I guess. So we were force fed Fantasia.
Jordan,
Yep, not me.
we need to watch
He's
it.
like, no, not me. Stop telling your story, man. I don't give a shit.
I think you'll
No,
enjoy
no,
it.
don't.
Like, I remember a lot of kids would think it was weird when I would talk about Fantasia being one of my favorite cartoons, like when we talk about our favorite movies at school. Yeah, that was always the thing. It's like, yeah, but didn't you see the colors and the broom
music.
and the
The
bucket
music is a
or the
huge
mop and the
Was
bucket?
the
and-
story not still there? You
That's probably
uncreative. Fuck.
honestly, that's
Just tell 'em what you think.
that's
Fuck.
probably like why I even it developed any taste for classical music
Right.
whatsoever was
Right.
being exposed to
Yeah.
that piece so early on. And think about now we're multiple generations deep. When did that come out? In the 30s? Like that's
I don't-
old. That's an old one.
30s or 40s.
Hey, Siri.
Multiple generations.
When did Fantasia come out?
Which one? I found Fantasia. Lyrics to live by.
The original.
Fantasia 2000. Fantasia. Jackie Chan.
Okay, so the oldest one on the
Fantasia was
list.
released the 13th of November 1940.
1940. I was close.
That's
I was
amazing.
close.
Even still, think about the animation techniques that were evolved from 1940 to
Yeah.
now.
That
Well,
was
everything
magic
That's
then.
that's what I. It
It
was
was
Yeah.
magic
Somebody
then.
drew that fucking hippo,
Yeah.
not
But our grandparents
hippo.
watched that. That's
Somebody
so
drew
cool.
that
Right.
hippo, but
That
then
was
they
their
drew
parents.
that hippo like 200 more times
Yeah.
with every motion that he was
Mhm.
doing all the way up until he got to the next scene.
That's
Yeah.
Could you
dedication
imagine
to a
meeting
vision.
that
is what
old
that is.
ass Disney artist that hand drew all that stuff? And he's gone mentally, right? You just hand him a paper and a pencil and he goes, fucking hippos.
But if I'm not mistaken, with a lot of like older animated movies, they did also reutilize
Yeah.
certain scenes.
They
like,
they
and they would just
recycle
reskin it.
backgrounds.
From,
Yeah.
from
They
movie
reskin
to
it.
movie, because there's a couple of scenes like that in Snow White where you can also see like a similar scene in another early Disney movie.
They did that with I believe Winnie the Pooh and Jungle Book too.
Yeah, I just saw that.
saw that
Also,
on Instagram.
yeah.
Yep. And Robin Hood.
When there was only like 6 voice actors, so like all the first like
Yeah.
5
Back
movies have
before
the
all the
same.
A-listers wanted to get
Yeah.
at least one animated
Yeah.
movie under their belt.
Well, not even that. Like the common voices. So you're like, oh, this guy's also in Jungle Book, who is also in
Little Mermaid.
Robin Hood, who's also
Mhm.
in. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you can pick them out, and you're like, oh, Little John's the same character in Boo, and who is
Dumbo.
Eeyore, who is in Dumbo, who is in, like you can. It's like 12 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. Play that game if you haven't. Sorry for describing it.
No, it's awesome. It's a great example of how that creative world has grown.
Yeah.
You know, it started off with like when people were like, we're gonna make an animated movie. And they were like, you're gonna make a what? Hold on, what's a movie?
Y'all gonna draw pictures?
You gonna make a flip book?
Have you seen there's a Disney documentary about early Walt Disney trying to
Mhm.
get like production up and running for
Who
the
was
first like big stuff. It was actually fairly entertaining to watch him get denied and denied and denied and denied and denied. But now,
Look at him now.
look at him now. He owns Florida.
Isn't his brain frozen or his whole noggin? Walt Disney
I'm pretty sure it's his
cryogenically
head.
frozen? Is he
The
frozen?
rumors his head
Yeah.
is cryogenically frozen underneath
believe it.
Disney World.
I believe it.
Yeah, dude, you don't know this shit?
What is the point?
Just
He
In
wants to be. Didn't
What?
I thought it
What
was.
a flex.
I know he
that
really.
creativity.
His whole
pretty
it's
sure
his whole
Terry
body.
Crews
His whole body's cryogenically frozen.
Could you
Just
imagine
in
being-
case they find in the future a way to.
a way to bring it back.
Yeah, and I think that is a real thing.
Could
Yeah,
you
oh,
imagine
for
just
sure.
being like, I've got so much fucking money that I'm gonna make you guys keep this freezer up and running until forever.
Mhm.
So you can't even spend X amount of dollars of my vast fortune because I need to be here frozen.
I feel like the amount that it would take to run a cryogenic freezer versus the amount that Disney has, I don't even think Disney would notice that
Yeah,
that money was
true
missing.
story.
That's kind of my point. What a hard flex.
Mhm.
That's like,
But
thank
if
you.
if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was covered in an episode of Family Guy.
Yeah, and the Simpsons
not
I think,
sure.
covered it too. Everybody covered
I'm
it.
sure.
Okay,
That's the thing.
I'm not too up on the things. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, I'm
it
pretty
seems
sure.
crappy.
Didn't
Seems
he
super
wake
fucking
up in
crappy.
Family Guy and he was like, "Are all the Jews gone?" He said
I would
no,
do
and then
it.
he said, "Put me back in."
If I had, would you be immortal if you could?
What?
Would you live forever if you could? You could choose to.
Fuck,
You could choose to
No,
die.
I'm like not even 40, and I'm like
You could flip a
halfway?
button. You could flip a button.
This
at
is
any
only
point.
fucking halfway. Are you fucking kidding me? I've got 40 more, like at
Oh,
least.
dude,
Are
at
you
least.
fuck?
Whoa. No,
All
bro. Nah,
All right.
nah. 40 will change a man.
Well, cool. Well,
Yeah, 37.
I mean, freeze
That's all right.
time for a while.
Ben doesn't want to live.
I
No,
wouldn't
I
mind
got
that.
it.
I mean,
I'm-
like,
My
Don't
soul
get me
needs to
wrong.
be fucking ended.
if I could chill for like 300-400 years, see a few lifetimes, see a few different, real technological shifts in humanity, see what really happens,
So you're saying if
And
there's-
after like 400 years, I'd probably be good to just bang out.
okay, so
Okay.
I'm in for a time machine experience,
Yes,
I mean,
me
that'd be
too.
cool
but
too.
bring me back here and let me die.
So,
You
Laura,
know, like let's see some cool shit, but like just bring me back.
I definitely would extend a little bit for sure. Yeah.
I feel like there are some loopholes in reality that would put you in some fucking terrible situations, like if you got buried alive or something like that, or there's all sorts. That's why you need the kill
Have you
switch.
seen The Old Guard?
So like,
No.
no, but
Watch
something
it.
like that would
What
suck
is
really
it?
bad.
Yeah, Charlize Theron's Netflix.
Oh, I saw that.
Say you
Yeah,
were
awesome.
immortal and then you
Good.
got
Maybe
buried
it's on
alive.
Hulu. I might be lying.
Or
It might be
like,
on
you know,
Hulu.
something
Super good.
floating out in space or something like that, or something happens to where you're now caught in an infinite loop of never getting
Like
out,
Kermit
and
the
now you
Frog
live
and
forever,
that down
and you're also
floating
stuck in some
space.
terrible
So
situation.
like trapping a vampire.
Yes.
What
Essentially.
is it? What trap?
Yes.
Like
Trapping a vampire.
trapping a vampire.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I may have mumbled. I got
Yeah.
excited.
No. Like, is there trap? I thought you said like trapping of a vampire.
Trapping a vampire.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, man. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. That.
Again, I don't no. I'm cool. Let's just have fun.
I would choose
This
immortality. I would
round.
choose
You would?
immortality,
Do you really?
but I need a kill switch. I
Mm.
need a kill switch. And the only reason why is because I want to know what the fuck's going on in the universe. I don't think you couldn't absorb that amount of information in one lifetime. I just don't think it could happen. No, that's why you need immortality. I want
I'm
a
curious
million.
to see who I'm gonna
I want a
be next.
million years from now. But there's also like, what if, I don't know, there's some other things where we're reincarnated or something like that. So you're already essentially doing that. Your energy is. But I don't want to forget.
Years.
I don't want to forget between the next life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I want to be here.
Hold
I
on to all
want.
your consciousness.
Can I be selective?
You can
Can I just
live
remember,
forever.
like,
You can
one or
live
two
forever. You
things?
have 10,000 years to figure out how to do whatever
Be
the
like
fuck you want.
child in that one really cool night, and then just everything else can just. And then just start over with a new, fresh, clean palette with just like a couple cool memories of who you used to be. Can we do that?
Yeah, so you could definitely choose that. You give it another 100, another 50 years,
Freeze my
100
ass.
years, you discover how to, work your neural link thing so you could shut off memories, put yourself into a robot body, live forever.
I really
Okay,
don't
man.
feel like
I knew it
Neuralink
was
is
gonna
the
stick around the
thing.
robot bodies.
What if
Yeah,
all
yeah,
these,
it
You
was
can't be
robot bodies.
fleshy like this in space. You'll
No.
freeze.
what if all these
Said
things we're
nothing
trying to
about
figure
robot
out
bodies.
when we
Sorry.
die, we
Shit.
just have all the
Shit.
All the
answers. We just
answers.
have the ability.
You
We
can create
have
whatever body you
not the
want.
limitations of our body, period. We
Yes.
just be like the aether. So we're trying to figure it out, but like death could be the answer.
I mean, like,
To what? Life?
but the only way to know is if you actually go there. And there's no coming back from there, so you can't really tell us what you saw.
But that's
I'll
where I'm
die all
like,
day
I
if
just
I could
wanna,
remember this
I'm
life
calling
after death.
bullshit.
I wanna live as much as I can.
Yeah, I'm sure all
learn
the
bet you
as
my
much as I
mom-
can.
freaks
See,
out
that's me.
there,
It's
like,
information.
yeah,
I am an
died, I
information
saw
junkie.
God.
I really want
But,
to
like,
know everything.
They don't
Yeah,
what
I know,
they
I
saw.
really
I
don't know
really
what
do,
it
and I want a
was.
means to do that. I feel like if I had a robot body, a way of withholding information in my mind better, being able to first off access that.
Right.
I got a lot of room in there, but like accessible information in one point in time, there's a lot of weed smoke and shit going on. It's like sometimes like those, you ever seen that episode of SpongeBob where they're like trying to find a file, everything's burning in the background. It's like we can't
Oh,
find
that was
it.
in his
Like when
brain.
you're trying to think of a
Right.
word and it's right on the tip of your
Yes,
tongue, but it's like,
oh.
oh, I can imagine the word coming out of my mouth, but it's not
Where
there.
is it? Where
Oh.
is it? Yeah, no, I want to be able to access information like that. I want to be able to, but like absorb and scan the universe. If you had a robot body, you can go wherever you want. Create some crazy
I mean,
jet
like-
thing that feeds off of some
I don't know, man.
something.
If
I
I
don't
was
know.
immortal
I don't
and I
know.
had the ability to
But you got the
explore
time to
universe,
have the
that'd be
imagination to figure out whatever you want at that point.
Yeah, I don't have the imagination to figure out what I'm gonna do.
But I
tomorrow
also want to
night.
be able to get rid of like.
So, like, yeah.
cool. Come on, man, be creative.
I would love to live a life where the idea of death isn't even there anymore.
Mm.
But I guess that's asking way too much for sure,
but-
because
but
everything's always
that's
gonna
just-
die. But at
Yeah.
the same time, just like
It's just a
just
part of life.
Oh, yeah.
definitely. So there's something after it.
I just
We're
wanna
on one today,
I
man.
just want to see what my energy is next. You know what I mean? Like I wish I could like compare consciousnesses.
See how
That'd be
you've
super
evolved,
Be
evolved
like,
or
hey,
devolved.
maybe this time, let's not do these things.
Right. I tell you what, though,
Don't be a piece of shit.
Robot
Maybe it'll
body.
turn out better.
I think you could create your own civilizations.
It's
You
scary.
could do so much. Start replicating things. Start going out into space and finding materials to start creating whatever you want, and then you got 1,000 years to be able to do whatever you want. The only thing is that you got to bypass like the emotional part, and you got to bypass the boredom part. You know.
Well, after everybody that you know and love dies, I don't think you really like. I feel like emotion wouldn't be too hard to bypass because
Everything
everything you
is-
cared about is gone.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like there's just so much creativity at your disposal if you're able to live longer like that,
Yeah.
If I could,
and then be able to become spacefaring.
if I could explore space as a robot, like a sentient robot with my own consciousness in it, immortality doesn't sound that bad. But being stuck here on this planet as an immortal would fucking suck after a while.
Only if there's a highly
I believe
energetic
that.
situation where I can fight somebody with a sword for a couple hundred years and cut their head off
Dude,
and
go to
become more
Russia.
powerful.
That's
Actually,
like
go to
every
Texas.
couple hundred years. I not even regularly, just
Yeah,
like
I wanna
every couple
practice
hundred
these.
years.
I
Just
can
go to
honestly say I
Texas,
would not want
man.
to do that even once.
I think it'd be a blast. It's only other people that want to cut your head off. They don't agree to mutual combat. It's an okay situation. You walk out, you're like, hey, high five. Right?
Yeah, no, just go to Texas. You can do that there.
Look, you can do anything you fucking want in Texas if you have enough cash.
I'm never
I'm pretty
going to
sure.
Texas.
I'm pretty sure they passed a law that allows you to carry a sword on your hip. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of crazy
You
ass
can
laws.
carry any weapon in the state of Ohio as long as it's not concealed.
That's fair. But is
Any
combat
Any
agreed upon
weapon.
combat allowed?
mutual combat is legal anywhere. If two people agree
Is
to
it?
dispatch each
Really?
other's lives,
Is it really?
it's legal.
Are you sure?
I don't know about that.
Would a
Hey,
judge?
sir.
Would a judge agree with
Is there
you?
mutual combat laws in Ohio?
Okay, I found this on the web for Is There Mutual Combat Laws in Ohio? Check it out.
Ouch.
Oh,
I had to change you to British because the American chick was too snotty.
yeah. I hate feeling like I'm being yelled at by my AI.
Well,
put on the,
apparently it's a Reddit thread, and since I don't do the Reddit thing, it won't give me the information.
Mm.
My mom uses the male British guy and calls him Sir I.
Sarai?
Yeah.
Sarai?
I just say give it a second.
Do you want to talk about that little piece you got there, Devin?
Hmm?
That little piece that Jordan's got in his hands. You want to say a little bit about it?
That's the newest one in my collection. The artist's name is Aaron Swanson. I'm not sure where he's based out of, but he does incredible work. He does a lot of filigree inspired recyclers. But that one, the specific colors are Queen Bee over Mermaid Lagoon.
And we lose Jordan.
And Jordan's dead.
And we lost him. Lift your arms. Breathe, buddy. Breathe.
Touch your
Breathe.
toes.
We're
We're using a condenser mic today, so there's no hiding from the comments. So we just gotta run with it.
Embrace the background noise. You all right, Bubba? Do you need high
Now that everyone's coming down on me, I'm all right.
I
I was encouraging you. Get it
I
out.
wasn't.
I'm
was
just
just
joking.
silently sending good vibes.
Thank you. I felt it.
I wasn't.
I'm just joking.
Sending hate through my eyeballs.
But
No,
for
definitely.
anybody that is interested, this artist is super personable. He's a really awesome guy. He goes by Swan Glass on Instagram.
That's so cool.
He makes some really nice goblets as well.
Goblets.
Goblets, wine glasses, chalices, if you will.
Can we
thanks
get
for
good
that.
chalices?
Yes,
It's so tasty.
Okay.
I have a whole shelf on my curio cabinet
Tell
filled
me
with
her-
Her,
tell me
her
what my
collection is
color
pretty
is.
legit.
Just start now. Just start now.
It's getting there. It's pretty legit, man.
Do you actually drink that?
Distilled water.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of money on some wine glasses that were really nice and custom made. They were so nice and so beautiful. I had a whole set of them. They all broke over time.
Really?
Just
True story?
little things.
Never even used
After,
them.
well, I used them a lot. That was
Oh,
the
okay.
thing. They were like my specific glasses I got for when I
I
wanted
got
to break wine out.
hand-blown colored glass, wine glasses, shot glasses, and a carafe in Israel in the like late 90s. And I hand carried it back, like through Greece, through New York, back to Ohio finally. And like, it's still to this day, I've moved with it countless times. I treat it like a baby. Like I'm so careful with it. So it's all, I think I gave the shot glasses away a long time ago because I was like, I don't drink, so that's kind of crazy. But I use it for water once in a while, but it's so pretty. Just sits in a cabinet. I believe it or not, I went on a church trip, and so I went everywhere. It was amazing. It was 10 days, and it was like,
Did you do birthright?
no,
Or you said you went with a church?
in a church group. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
On
so
a temple
cool.
group.
No, but we
Fuck
went
you,
to,
man.
no, but we went to like, I was like, before I even went on the trip, I was like, I don't want to go to just like traditional Christian places. I want to go to like all kinds of cool places. So we like stayed in the kibbutz, and
Mhm.
it was awesome. It was so
What's that?
That's the kibbutz.
It's like our version of a
Communal
hostel.
living. It's like, it's really cool. It's like they all have farms, and like everybody chips in and helps out, and like everyone has a role.
Wait, you're saying I can just go somewhere and live and work and they just give
Yeah,
me
it's
food?
basically,
and
it's
I
live
think
basically
in
a
so.
commune.
Yeah, it's a commune.
It's
So
basically
you're
a commune.
telling me if
Everybody
I
lives in
pull
a
weeds,
little
I
one.
get a bed.
Yeah, basically, and the food is good.
That is
Dude, the food out there
fantastic.
is amazing.
Amazing. Oh my god, salads for breakfast.
Yeah,
and-
I did birthright for
Oh,
10
nice.
days.
When you were like what, 18 or something, or?
No, this was just a few years
Oh,
ago.
cool. That's
It-
really
I
cool.
had the opportunity to do it up until I was 25, so
Nice.
I decided to do it when I was 24.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, dude, we went all up and down the place. It is
Oh.
one of the most beautiful
It
places I've
is
ever
so
been.
incredible. It really
Did you
is.
did you guys do a sunrise hike at Masada?
Yes, we did Masada. I hiked up. I didn't hike down. I took the trolley car down. We swam in the Dead
That go-
Sea.
So
That fucking sucked. Oh my god. dude.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
I love this show.
I have never.
The diversity of conversation that
I
we
know.
get into this. is
Look,
amazing.
I am huge on sunsets and sunrises.
Me too.
I have never seen a more insane sunrise than from the top of Masada.
Oh,
I believe it's like the highest point you can get to in Israel. And essentially you're just like overlooking, I believe, Jordan. And it's just a mountain range fucking miles away. And the sun is just like coming up, like up and over, like almost like on a fucking Lion King's
mhm.
status kind of tip, man. It's really
We
good.
said on a Lion King status. type of-
Exactly.
Dude.
Thank you, Paul.
Like,
Except isn't that
I've never seen one more.
Yeah.
It's just sunrise.
I'm just
It's
saying,
sunrise.
sunrise.
sentiment, That's all.
That's the sunrise song now. Okay. I was
Yeah,
also, I thought the Dead Sea was gonna be way more fun to swim in.
I
It was
get
fucking painful, dude.
I got a rash. Like I turned all red and ivy. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
it
getting
sounds-
out.
sounds crusty.
Yeah.
Well, there's
That
just
probably
song
like-
sounds abrasive.
Crazy
It's
back.
not
There's
good.
probably like
Yeah.
some crazy like. Is there like
no, it's
bacteria
just-
or anything
it's
in there?
just So
It's
much
just
salt.
It's just
dude.
salt, nothing else.
Like
So does the salt
anything,
do that
like
to
if you
you?
have like a break
I
in the
think so.
skin or
Yeah.
like
I don't
anything
like
that's
it.
just raw, it fucking hurts.
Anything that's just raw.
Like if you've been hiking for the past like 10 miles a day for the past like 8 days,
Yeah.
guess what? You're gonna be chafed as a motherfucker, and it is gonna suck. And the water is hotter than a hot tub.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like it's
I didn't
100.
expect the
it's
water to be
100
that hot, but I
There's
guess
just like
that
a
makes
crust
sense.
of salt everywhere.
Wonder what
There's
feels so
there's
creepy to me.
sand,
I
it's
don't know.
just-
There's
it's
something
just a
about, like,
solid bed of salt.
Is it
knowing there's
creepy to
nothing
be
in
that
it.
Jay
buoyant?
Doggy, let's
Yeah.
plan it. Let's
It
go.
was awesome,
Wild.
actually.
Yeah.
I have
Dead
a-
Sea?
I have a
Where is the
couple
Dead Sea?
pictures of
Israel.
me, like just
Israel?
reading a book floating on the water.
All right. Next
But
year.
it is,
2038.
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
it is,
7
it
years
is
from now.
absolutely incredible if you get the opportunity. I highly recommend you.
Definitely is.
The Mediterranean Sea is amazing. The food is
Yes.
amazing.
I can't wait to travel over there.
Literally everything is perfect. Like I wouldn't change it.
That,
Other than like their constant
From
threat of violence,
Jerusalem.
that's the only bad part.
from Jerusalem, it's a 12-hour
I mean-
drive to the pyramids of Giza.
Wow. That's a road trip.
And you're
I'm
like
in for all
you're like a 3-hour plane ride from anywhere in Europe.
How much does it
So
cost
how
to
much
rent a
is the
large
plane?
vehicle?
I don't know.
that. Damn it, fine. Come on.
Probably not that much if you have multiple people.
So we're going to Israel and
I have family.
Gaza?
I have family there. We could have a place to stay.
Shit, that just gotta happen. It's expensive.
She lives on a kibbutz, so it's not like we'd be taking up the room. We have plenty of it.
We need to make this a solid plan.
I'm down.
I'd
Should we
love
write
to
it off on
travel.
our taxes somehow?
I think so.
I mean,
So this
I
is a
think
company
so.
we
work-
should
it's a
make
work
this
trip.
a legitimate business trip.
We're gonna go meet with some Israeli
Tattoo
tattoo
artists.
artists.
Wait,
Yeah,
is
and
it-
collectors. Yeah,
Is that a thing?
It can be.
it is. The tattoo collecting podcast tour.
Yeah.
World
No,
tour.
I meant
World tour.
Israeli tattoo collectors. Is that
Yeah, of course.
part of the
It,
culture?
Awesome
it
artists.
is. I mean, okay, so in the Jewish culture, like it's kind of weird.
That's where I was.
Tattoos are still kind of taboo, but at the same time, like
That makes it more
there's
exciting.
there's so many people that have them, like just because they're in the military now,
Mhm.
and it's becoming less and less
Taboo.
taboo, I guess. Yeah.
If there was
The,
one background in social heritage that I agree with having a disposition against tattooing, it would be the Jewish.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm pretty
That's
sure.
the one place. I'm like, yep.
Like,
No disrespect, yeah.
if I'm not mistaken,
Like-
because I have tattoos, I'm not allowed to be buried
Buried
in a Jewish cemetery.
cemetery.
Which I, whatever.
You
I
want to get
guess,
buried with
but-
anybody?
But at the same time, the problem that that's creating is that even for people in Israel, especially for people in Israel, you have all these young Jewish kids that are dying in battles that are still happening that a lot of people aren't really talking about.
Mhm.
These kids that are dying in conflicts, they have tattoos, so they can either be buried in a military cemetery or a non-Jewish cemetery, but they can't be buried.
Like with their family.
Right. So it's kind of weird, but at the same time, when I was over there, I didn't see a lack of tattoos.
Mhm.
Right.
I couldn't get a cheeseburger fucking anywhere though.
So what you're saying is there's a market. I make a
No.
fucking mean cheeseburger, bro.
There's not a market for cheeseburgers. out
Damn it.
there.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure I was the only one in the last 6 months that had asked that guy.
Yeah.
So-
Mostly like vegetarian, yummy, oh god, salads and hummus and all that good stuff.
Lots of rice,
Falafel.
lots of chicken, lots of falafel, goat.
Goat's delicious.
I get down with goat.
I haven't tried it.
Oh,
There's a
wow.
I
place
down
at
with
North
lamb.
Market that's
Yeah,
a.
I've seen it, but
It's delicious. It's
Good word
delicious. They have a ginger
I like
lemonade
that.
there. It's like, well, baby
Yes.
Jesus came down from heaven and poured you a glass of milk. It's so good. Free refills. So good.
Are
They
you
have,
talking-
like,
Are you
they
talking
use
about the
so much
Somali
less
place?
Yeah,
sugar in
Yes.
their
pretty good
food.
Somali place.
They use so much less sugar in their
Mhm.
food that like you can eat a large meal and still not feel like shit.
Challenge accepted.
I believe you.
My mind was blown when I realized that it's normal for like a lot of people in the United States to put sugar, like some people put sugar in their chili, which blows my mind.
yeah.
Some people put sugar in their pasta sauce, not
Yeah.
some, but a lot. That blows
Yeah.
my mind.
My grandma and my mom have a mac and cheese bake that calls for a little bit of sugar.
Not a lot, but yeah, in chili, it's so good. I think. I
Blows
love
my
it.
mind.
The
I mean,
last
I'm not
time-
gonna turn my nose up at it.
Yeah.
I've had it and it's like, oh, this is good. But
My
that's not
husband
how
is a
my
chili
family makes
artist.
it.
And last time he put 2 Hershey's bars in it, but a little bit of brown sugar, and he cut up apples and put it in.
Ooh,
And I was like, is that gonna be good? And it was freaking the bomb chili. Like oh my
Apples
God.
and pork go
It was-
really
it
well
was pork.
together.
He did half pork, half beef as the
There we
meat,
go.
and garbanzo beans. Oh my God, it was so good. He,
I used
every time it's
to,
different. He's an artist.
At what
I
point
used-
does it become bean soup?
I don't know.
And not chili. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but where's the line?
Just I think the more meat and the more like it becomes less soupy. It's like more of a chunky meal. You
I've
know?
heard that out west, if you're
I'm a
trying
big
to
fan
be
of
like
chunky man.
authentic,
It's
authentic
really tastes
chili,
good.
I guess this was supposed to have potatoes.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I've
Like
never done
beans
that.
came along later.
Hmm.
It's like potatoes got swapped out for beans.
See,
Chili
I'd be a
sounds
lot
way
more
less good with beef, with potatoes.
I mean,
but
I
I'd
like
be
taking
I'd
chili
be
and
down for
drizzling it
potatoes,
too,
though.
at that
Like,
point.
I'm not I don't like beans. I'd be down for potatoes.
Oh,
I mean, I can take or leave beans. I've had lots of chili without beans.
yeah.
I'm fine with that, but I think potatoes, we're
Have you
now
ever-
into the beef stew area.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
throw some
fine,
carrots and
fine.
some celery in there.
Fine.
Let's,
But, like,
let's get it done.
See, it's not. I wouldn't consider it beef stew if it's gonna be like small, little, chunky bits of beef. Because a beef stew, I feel like it's gotta
like
have like
steak,
you
like-
gotta have like fucking like forkfuls of beef in that
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Guess we grew up different, bro. I'm just kidding, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Where's the line?
I don't know.
Is it the consistency of the broth? Chili's thicker.
I don't think there's one good chili. I think chili exists on a spectrum.
And can we
Yes.
all agree that white chili isn't fucking chili?
Oh,
I was just
I
gonna
like-
ask
Can we
about
throw
white
that
chili.
flag right now? Just like,
I
Kind of
like
like how
it.
white chocolate isn't chocolate.
yeah, but let's get to that.
Now that I
next.
If
I'm
there's no
still
cocoa
on
in
white
it, it's
chili,
not
man. That is a chicken bean soup.
Our neighborhood has a chili cook-off, and like usually there's like 13 or 16 entries, and it's really competitive, and they're always all different. Like there's a few red ones, and then there's like darker ones.
Do you just
and then
walk up
there's-
to the white chilies and flip them off the table?
No, I
You
like
should.
them. I try them
Called
all. And
trash
you get like a
chilies.
Dixie cup and a little plastic spoon, and then you just go around trying them all, and then you figure out which one you want, and then you get a big bowl of the one you want. You know,
I like
It's awesome.
that.
What the fuck do you?
Right,
know?
you just
I'm
go to
coming
just
there.
go
Don't
to
say
the
it
white
already.
chili.
The
Was
chi-
there the
chili-
next knock it over?
cook-off,
You want
yes.
I'm sorry.
I had
Oh,
I had a
okay.
tattoo client back in Grand Rapids who
I'll bring a
was
can of Hormel.
He'd always do that. He always invite me to them.
What's up?
Chili cook-offs.
I've never been to
A
one.
contest.
It's
like a
it's
competitive-
exactly that.
This
Like,
is super competitive. Like they're cutthroat, and you can't share the recipe, and you can't even share anything about ingredients or anything until after the judges go through and vote. And it's like people have cried when they don't win.
We had a
they
chili
work,
cook-off.
they work hard for the
It's
chilies.
nuts.
We had a chili cook-off at work one time when I worked in a t-shirt shop. And it was like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people really cared.
Got into it. Yeah.
And the person that won opened 2 cans of Hormel,
Stop it.
threw it in his crock pot, walked in, and plugged it in,
Oh my god.
walked away from it, didn't touch it all day.
That's kind of
Just-
cheating, isn't it?
Just walk.
And that's what everybody thought
That's what
was the
everybody
chiliest chili.
Won.
That's hilarious.
People spent days
Yeah.
on this. And this dude was like, 2 cans, 1 crock pot.
Wow.
And everybody was like, no way. He's like,
Evidence.
Hormel.
It's kind of like when you see like the wine tastings and
Yeah.
like the $3 Aldi wine
When-
ones.
$2 chuck.
Because it's not what's the best, it's what's the most familiar palate.
Yeah. What's most
It's
familiar
not-
or pleasing? or
Exotic
whatever.
ingredients aren't normally palatable for people that don't eat exotic ingredients.
You know what
So
I
when
think
you
is a
start
good
putting all
example
this
of an
weirdness in it, you're
all-around
like,
chili?
Yeah, that's true. Some people would.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a good medium all-around chili. Wendy's.
I've never had
Wendy's. You've never had Wendy's
I
chili?
would eat Wendy's chili
I
anytime.
Dump
if
that
we were-
over top of a baked
Baked
potato.
potato,
If
yeah,
we
that
were
was
on
all
the
good.
beach
paid me.
and
Heartburn
it's
City.
110 degrees.
But I do
You're
like
like, you want
I do
more
like
chili?
it.
Wendy's.
Oh dear.
I worked at Wendy's.
Don't
I know
ruin
how
it.
that
Don't
shit is
ruin it.
made.
Yeah, no.
Don't
Oh, I've
you
already
dare
heard.
fucking
I already
ruin that
know.
shit.
I don't want
I've already heard
I
it. I
will
know.
never eat that
Oh,
shit.
I've heard all the secrets as well. And I'm like, it's cool. Like, I'll
Nah.
take day old everything if you've cooked it long enough. It's all right. It's all right. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
Put it over 160 and feed it to me.
Some places, like the Wendy's, don't even break up the hamburger patties. It's like still
Oh, yeah, give me
clearly
that
chunks.
chunk
Well,
of
Yeah.
it's the
With the-
it's the overcooked patties that like
Oh.
aren't worthy of being put on a sandwich. They go into a hot box all day. And then at the end of the day, all of those patties from the day are put
So
into
they've
a
been
baggie.
cooking and stewing and steaming
Oh,
and
that sounds
becoming
delicious.
more
I want more
delicious.
chili.
And then
Yeah.
dude, you're
We're with it. We're with
I
it.
worked in kitchens
No.
for years. You're not telling me any
Dude, this
sentence
shit
I
is-
haven't heard. Give me all that sweaty beef, break it down, put it in some fucking meat sauce with some beans and some crackers. I'm there. Thank you.
On the
I'm glad
road,
you
that's
did
a
it.
great meal.
On the road.
Balanced. There's vegetables in it, potato.
You want to go eat chili right now?
It is a chilly day. We could go get some
Oh.
chili.
It is a good day for chili.
It's the second day of fall, and it's like, hey, you want rain and cold? There you go. Fuck you,
Yeah, but it's
Ohio.
Ohio. It'll turn. It'll change.
yeah.
It'll be like 90 degrees in a week.
Still got t-shirt on under the hoodie. I know what's up.
I'm just waiting for the leaves to start changing. I'm not looking forward to the snow.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. We were there.
Like I love spring and fall
Mm-hmm.
because the temperature is just right. It's not too hot.
And
And I
it's
don't have to
pretty.
worry about not having an AC in my car. Winter, my car just hates snow.
This is
And
the first year I haven't had all this.
person. I don't like cold.
Mhm.
I don't mind the cold, but I don't like driving in the snow without four-wheel drive. I'm not pumped on
Yeah, no, that's not
it. Yeah,
an option for me.
yeah. Right. I'm not pumped on it. Let's just say that. Come on, mild winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No crazy ice storms.
No
Crazy ice storms.
Is that the ice storm dance? Did we just create it?
Maybe.
I bet we're
What
not
is-
gonna get anything until like January,
I'm
February, and then
actually
it's gonna hit
curious
pretty
on what
hard
the Farmer's
until
Almanac says for this one.
end of April.
Mhm.
Are you about the farmer's almanac is?
Mhm.
He's hitting us
I
with
am about the
truths.
Farmer's Almanac. This shit. I'm
Hitting us with
curious.
truths.
The all-knowing almanac.
I
How
don't
are they?
know.
How are they able to predict like that?
They just guess.
Yeah.
It's like some Groundhog Day type stuff.
They're like,
It's
threw a
probably
rock in
just
the
the
air, throw it
solid,
to the west
most
side of the field.
accurate gathering of information for like the past 100 years. And then they just look at those patterns and
Trends.
trends. And then they say, on this day for the last 100 years, it's been sunny. So it's most likely going to be sunny on this day.
So according
I can see
to
based on
Google,
patterns.
According to Google, he's
according to
referencing the
Google,
Google
so just so you know, if I'm wrong, blame Google. The old Farmer's Almanac released its forecast for the 2021-2022 winter season. It's going to be a cold and snowy winter for Ohio. Quote, this coming winter could well be one of the longest and coldest that we've seen in years.
Now, why'd you have to go and do that?
Hey, bro. You
Come
saved-
on, Devin.
You saved Wendy's chili, but you
Fucking
ruined this
weatherman
one.
over. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
Being a meteorologist is the only job that you can be wrong 50% of the time
And
and
nobody
not get
cares.
fired.
That is
Right.
true.
50, it's more than that. People just look at you like, well, I mean, the wind blew. What do you want me to do? I can't help if the wind blew.
It blew that way. I said it was gonna blow that way. I
I
didn't
didn't
tell you it was
control
gonna be
it.
Yeah,
exactly
right. Don't
that
get mad
fast.
at me.
Jeez.
Telling you how the wind's gonna fucking blow.
It's raining.
I think.
But like
that
you said,
sucks.
it's a guess. It's a guess. So for all we know, we could have another mile.
It's kind of like being a lawyer. I guess. I mean, this is what he said. Hey, jail? Yeah? Cool. I guess I'm off the hook. All right. Sorry, bro.
Ben, it's down to just you and I again.
Fantastic. I'm glad I'm drinking Red Bull.
It's cool.
It gives me wings.
It does.
My dad got me a little bit.
Got me a lot of it.
I've got that other
I
flavor.
was so
I've got
after
that other
first one.
flavor.
You like
You wanna
No,
do that one
no,
next?
I don't.
You try it.
I don't.
Look at you with those pretty eyes. Aw. Look at those pretty
Producer
eyes.
picks.
Eon's joining us.
Producer.
This
He's the
guy.
man.
They seem to be really loving the new place, Jordan.
Oh, they
This
love
is
it.
really coming together nicely.
Yeah, MST's
Thank you.
looking good, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that I can use the front door.
Right? I like having a front door.
I like that you greeted us through
Uh,
a peephole.
I
You know,
like how
you
to
need
do
to
the
get-
mail
you need to
slot.
get some little tentacles that
Do you
you
like
can
that?
flip out at people.
Right.
Like,
Little hand. Get a little hand on like a claw or something.
Oh my god. Right? Just wait for the mailman.
Instead of
Stick it out.
magnetic rods to find screws in your garage, you should get
What
one
did
and
he
put a
do
little
with
hand
tail?
on it and just reach out and touch people with it.
I know.
Oh, dude. You're on,
He doesn't
you're
have
on
fleas or anything
Parsons.
like
You can
that.
go crackhead fishing. You just like take a little bag, put some baby powder in it, and like take a little fishing rod and cast it out through the fucking mail slot.
I think if you go up by the
not
drive-through, it
that
might be
close.
real successful
There's a
up by the
police station.
drive-through.
Right there.
Cool. So if they get mad, they're not going to be able to fuck with you too long.
They're not gonna run this way. Oh, man, that's awful. We can't make fun of people that are in worse situations than we are. We can just count our gratitude and say, but by the grace of God,
Mhm.
there go I.
Or laugh.
Or laugh, whichever. I think universe would prefer the more humble, but do what feels right, Ben.
Thanks.
You say you're gonna laugh. It's not
I
like you really
know.
do, though. We just say that while we're sitting here. We're the suckers that are like, hold on, let me see if I have $1.
Yeah.
No, I don't need company, but here's $1 anyway. Here's
No,
two.
I don't
Go.
need company. I will pay you to leave now. Let's be honest. Okay? Can we
Just let
be
us
honest
hear it,
with each
Ben.
other for a
Just
half
let
a
us hear
second
it,
right
Ben.
now? The Hollywood expectation of what a lady in the night should be and what actually is like a gross misrepresentation of the whole industry.
Mhm.
And it's really, really annoying. I'm not saying I've seen a lot of hookers, but I have never seen a hooker or whatever you want to be called. Sorry if I'm being derogatory. I don't know the right
Sex
word.
worker.
Sex worker. Thank you. I've never seen a sex worker that meets any type of standard of any type of Hollywood depiction of any type of sex worker.
Hold on.
Ever.
Hold on. Correction.
What?
No.
I don't know
Vegas
though.
one.
I don't know.
Hustle and flow.
All right, there's real hookers. But there was like real hookers in Hustle and Flow. Because they just went outside and they're like, hey, hookers, do you want to be in a movie? They're like, yeah. Hell yeah, we do. Hell yeah, we do. So I just think that it's not fair. And these poor girls already have a really rough job. Like,
It's just an
Can we
impossible
just-
standard.
yeah, let's just lower the standard of the Hollywood depiction. I mean,
Yeah.
or raise the standard of the street. I don't care. I don't care either way. But there's like
Meet in the middle.
there's this gap that I'm not quite sure we as a society should just accept.
I'm
It's just not
gonna leave
fair.
the standards to somebody else to judge.
Just,
Here's one question I have, Ben.
yes, ma'am.
How come, Devin, maybe you'll have an answer for me.
Oh, God.
How come
All right.
the ladies that we're all picturing, sometimes gentlemen too, whichever, but how
I was
come,
gender neutral.
how come when their hair is up, only part of it is up? Like there's gonna be like some random dishevelment and
Because
like
they're
a
hiding
smear.
from-
It's because they've been up for 3 days.
Is that what it
It's because
is?
they've been up for 3
It's
days and they
3
don't know what
days.
where they actually are. They're making kind
mean-
of like a walk of shame.
Or was that hair gel?
Oh God,
I think we're going too far.
we went there.
I think we're
No,
going
that
too
We
was-
went there.
Come on.
I think we're going too far.
We went there.
I don't think we
Could
should be
be. I
judging
mean,
people in their
let's-
in their walks of life. I think everyone's
Did I
got
say
their
there
own
was anything
situation.
wrong
We're
with
speculating.
Yeah, this is all
Never
speculation.
once did I say I had a problem with you being a sex worker. I don't give a shit.
He just
what
wants you to be
do
an
for a
aerobic
living.
sex
If you
worker.
are happy doing that for a living, I don't give a flying fuck. But my thing is,
He just wants you to be better looking.
the bar is fucked up. The bar is just fucked up. That's
What
all I'm
bar?
saying.
He just-
Hollywood
he wants
bars,
you to-
they're
he wants them to
represented
at
in
least have a
Hollywood.
Okay,
full
yeah.
round of
Okay,
teeth.
I see that.
I'm just saying
Yes.
there's
He just
Yes.
wants, he wants a full mouth of teeth at least.
I don't know about at least.
I mean, forget sex workers. Hollywood glamorizes everything and everyone, right? I mean, where's the authenticity anywhere in Hollywood? It's not just sex workers.
Okay, I have to 100% agree with you, but
It's all fake.
I feel like there's a
funnier
lot.
when you
I
talk about
also
hookers.
feel like there's a lot of the other
You're
end though, where
absolutely
Hollywood makes people
You're
look
absolutely
really,
I was
really
just
bad.
right now, Jordan, by See what
Jordan's
he said?
like, we need to segue the fuck out of this.
I'm scared of this conversation. Let's put it that way.
You shouldn't be.
Well, I
You
just-
shouldn't be ever be
How
scared
did
to
we
talk
get on
about
the topic
anything.
of hookers?
I have no idea. It was this one over here. There's trouble.
Ben, are you why are you talking?
Fawn brought it up.
I don't know why
Are you
we're
thinking
talking about hookers.
right now?
No.
We need to be worried about you.
They're called sex workers, sir. We just learned this. Where have you been? God.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't-
It's okay. It's
Hooker,
like life.
please.
Wait, weren't you just talking about fishing for crackheads? And now this is my fucking fault? What?
That's where it all started.
Thank you,
has
sir.
a point.
Segue, goddamn master. I was
Yeah.
trying to reel it back in. My fault.
So we went on to hookers.
Sex workers. Whatever the proper nomenclature
Escorts.
is.
Escorts.
Nomenclature.
No, that's a whole different thing. You don't get to have sex with an escort. I don't know if you read the rules.
How do you do this, Ben?
I
No, a lot of knowledge in
don't
there.
know. Craigslist is down. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm totally speculating.
You hear a Ben's list?
You ever heard of Ben's list? It's real short. It's real short.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring shame in there.
It's okay. It's always there. It's my life. It's my life.
Ben Jovi.
Benjamin, I made it go out. I'm sorry. It's probably time.
Oh man.
So what?
let's be
Let's
real.
talk about tattoos. Instead of
Something about
hookers,
tattoos.
please.
I have a tattoo story.
Tell me.
Yeah.
So last time I was on this glorious podcast, we talked about how collectors should just figure out who their dream artist is and then just like email them, reach out to them. Like, why not? Like, what's the worst that could happen, right? So after I left her all with Jazz, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So I have this artist that I've been wanting to get tattooed by. She's in LA, Laura Aninaki. She's not in LA. She's in LA for a little while. She's in Mexico City usually, so far away. And I feel intimidated going to Mexico City to get tattooed. So I've never really considered the possibility that I could actually get tattooed by her. But she said she was doing a US tour. So I reached out and I was like, hey, I'd love to get something by you. And I know I used the exact same approach that I used to get Fawn to tattoo me. And it worked again. So this is a year I can't get tattooed by her because I'm getting tattooed by Fawn for like pretty much this whole year. Like we started in February and we're still going. And like it's the year 2021 is Fawn. I'm trying to
The year of the fawn.
and
Yeah.
it's an awesome year, trust me. But so I'm thinking this maybe 22, maybe 23 for Laura. But Laura writes back or her person writes back and was like, hey, Laura loves your idea. She would like to do it in LA in September or October. It'll take one day. It'll be X amount of money. I don't know if you want me to say what the price was, but anyway, and I had to write him back and be like, thank you so much. I'm so psyched you like my idea. And I'm so bummed that I can't do it this year. I blame COVID. It's kind of due to COVID, but it's also due to the fact that I'm not made of money. And
But when you
It's hard when
add
you've
the
got
trip,
multiple
right,
projects.
exactly.
cost
But here's
onto
the
the
thing, right?
tattoo.
LA happens to be the city and my parents live in LA. So like I have a place to stay. So
Don't tell them
I
that.
could just fly,
These are
see my
your
parents,
appreciation.
get tattooed, but not this year, next year maybe. So I said, like, I will hit you back in a year and hopefully we can make that.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if we paused for a moment.
No, never. I want to.
We're in the same city.
I know.
We
but-
see each other.
We're in the same city.
I know, but I want to see this through, and then I'm trying my whole collecting life. I've tried not to rush anything. There was a period right around my divorce, the dark days, when I got tattooed a lot all at once. Like I did my full back, and I did my full chest, and I did my stomach, and I did my hoo-ha, and other place. I mean, just like a little bit of everywhere,
Got
and
it.
it was too much at once.
Um,
I like to spread it out now.
I got a lot of tattoos at once. And
Really
big collector mindset. Like it was almost like, oh, you're healed. You're not healed there, so let's go ahead and start on
Right.
the other side, and we'll knock this outline out, and we'll do shading, and then this will be healed in a week, and we'll get back into that. Like,
And it's not that there's anything wrong with that
No.
approach. It's just that life's only so long, and you only have so much skin. And
yeah,
so
it
I'm
definitely
trying
got to the point where it was like,
Yeah.
hold on, step.
Yeah.
Let's take
It's
it.
good to pause and then come back to it, and it makes you appreciate it more.
It's rough on your body too. It's a lot of.
Yeah.
Man, people don't. It's trauma. Like it's
Yes, it
tiring.
is.
It's
Yes.
a lot on your body to physically go through, even for a few hours. If you're doing that consistently, it's just like going to the gym all the time. You don't wear yourself out.
Mhm.
So you gotta pace it.
Yeah.
I had a few
Take care of
large
yourself
projects
before and
going at
after.
once. This
Yeah.
year, because I'm doing all the stuff with my teeth and everything, I'm taking a break from tattooing. I feel like one body modification at a time is
Mhm.
enough on the pocketbook. But when I was in the middle of a few projects at the same time, it was like I really had to, like, there's like the financial aspect of it. Like, obviously, if I've got a collaborative piece with Ty McEwen and Adam France,
Right.
Russ Abbott, and Guy Aitchison. 3 open projects with 4 heavy hitters like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And that's a big commitment because I can't flake out on any of them. You know what I mean? Because they're all scheduled so tight and what have you. But there was a instance where I had 3 appointments and they were all like less than 2 weeks apart. So in less than 6 weeks, I had my back tattooed, a large portion of my back, like the whole lower back and cheeks. Both sides of my armpits.
Ugh.
And then,
Holy
so
crap.
it was St. Louis. It was supposed to be 2 days, ended up being one long, brutal day. And then 2 days back to back on my armpits a few weeks later. And then a few weeks later, after that, I had Hell City with Ty and Adam both working on me all day. And by the third, by the time I was in recovery mode from that third session, I felt like I was hit by a bus. I
Yeah.
felt like, you know how like when you get really, really sick and your whole body feels in recovery mode and a little fluttery and a little weak for a few weeks
Yeah.
afterwards because you're still like repairing on the inside. That's how I felt for
Yeah.
like 6 weeks. Like it really took me a long time. Like I've heard people say things like tattoo fever, but like that's real. Like my lymph nodes were all swollen. Like I felt like I looked pale. I felt like I looked
you're
tired all the time. Like I felt tired all the time. Like it was really a lot stacking those big appointments back to back. Did I get the work done? Yes. Did it turn out great? Yes. Did I live? Yes. But stacking a lot of work back to back to back and not letting your body like fully recover and fully like replenish its white blood cells and fully replenish its red blood cells. And then you rehydrated. And like, if you haven't let your like, and then you've got the actual tissue healing on top of that.
Right.
Like, it's exhausting. Like you can't get enough sleep to make that process go quick enough.
Well, if you got open skin on multiple areas of your
Yeah.
body is stretched so thin trying to repair the same thing that can
Mhm.
slow down the healing process.
Well, think about like if we were talking about burns, when they say that people are like 25% covered in burns or 30% covered in burns. If you've gotten a whole leg worked on, part of an arm and part of your torso, they would consider that like 35 or 40% covered in burns. And that's
right.
that much skin that needs to heal and that much skin that needs special care and attention and like extra cleansing. And like the more of an area you have healing, the slower everything's gonna be, just because your body's got to work that much harder. Like, oh, get tattooed, get big tattoos. Just don't stack your appointments too close together.
I like
Yeah.
monthly as a cadence. I feel like it's really like it gives your body enough time to like.
Sometimes at the beginning of projects, clients are like, we can go every other week. And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, we can, but like, I'd really rather let you recover and
Yeah.
let you be ready. And we've had sessions where like some areas like a month later are just ready to go,
Yeah.
like just barely there.
Yeah.
And most of the time I stay away from those areas, but like, you know, you've had sessions where it was nothing and sessions where like you really needed the extra
I feel like
time
as
to-
I've gotten older, I need more time between. Like in my like late 20s, even my early 30s, I feel like I could get tattooed a lot more often. Like every 2 weeks was fine.
To be fair, in our early 20s, our body's used to being in recovery mode. That's true.
It's its job.
Yeah.
It's its job.
Yep.
Bounce
Our
back.
body's
I
used
do
to being
feel like
there.
as what I realized about myself is tattooing doesn't get any easier as I go on. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I wish it was that way. I get more used to the whole procedure and the pattern and how like go about the whole experience and all that, and like mental mechanisms to help me deal with the situation and stuff like that. But at the same time, I remember the first times I got tattooed, it was a lot lighter of an experience. I feel like it did suck tattooing sucks getting done, but it was like the anticipation of it. I didn't know, and so it was like, you don't think it's gonna be as bad, and then you kind of forget. But like each time I go back, I feel like my tattoos hurt more because of the areas I'm getting them.
Yeah.
Tend to start in areas that don't hurt as bad, and now
This
like
sounds super familiar.
after doing
It's
my
like-
entire back, it's just like, I don't know. I
That
can't wait to
sucks.
go back, but it doesn't necessarily get any easier. But I feel like it takes a little bit more strength to be able to pick up myself and do it. Like I like that feeling. I like it where it's like I'm challenging myself to go through this again, and now I know just what I'm gonna go through,
Mhm.
what it's gonna take, all the boringness of the day, all the monotonous of just sitting there with the same pain for 8 to 10 hours or whatever. But challenge yourself to do it. I like it, and you know what it's like, and once you've done it,
worth it.
once, and like. Once you've already gone through it, you can do it again.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine putting yourself through it again, but then you do it again.
There are certain parts of me that I'm like, I'm glad that's tattooed because I would not tattoo it again.
See, I'm down to all
Yeah.
the parts where I'm like, man, I should have done that when I was 20.
Yeah.
Stupid. I don't even want to get a tattoo.
I'm so not looking forward to my throat at all. At all. Just
What do
like
you wanna do?
popping pimples on some little areas and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, my abs. I'm like, I just want to.
I'm not even sold on tattoos.
You know what I mean?
Like
Like
that,
it's
man.
so bad.
I just don't even know if I'll do it.
I was gonna say, I don't necessarily know if I want to go up onto the neck. Like,
I
maybe
can picture
something-
myself
maybe
doing
something
it, but
maybe
also,
something
like,
poking
not
out of the
doing it.
collar line just to kind of be like a teaser to what's under it. But like,
Fair.
I don't know if
Neck
I
pop
want
is
to
under
go
the
there.
neck.
I see open space when I look at myself.
I
I'm
got
like,
one neck.
I
some
do
big
now.
transformations that are gonna happen. I feel like
I feel
Are you
like
gonna
tongue
get-
split's gonna be
Are you gonna do
in the
your
next
face
year.
at all?
Who do you?
I don't
know-
want to do my face unless it's the very last thing I do.
let me
Have you
tattoo.
found-
Like maybe I find something I like, but I'm not going to like full bio out my face or like full geo out my face or
How
something.
about blackout work?
I could imagine, some mandalic thing maybe coming over a cheek or something like that. But I can't.
Get some teardrops.
I'm not gonna tattoo my face unless my neck's done.
Makes
And
sense.
I need to start working on my legs as well. So
Have
like,
you
I don't think I'll
found-
touch my face till like
What does a sword mean down your cheek? Does anybody know?
You're a hipster?
I don't know.
I don't know.
yeah,
I see
you
that all the
you
time
seen
now, and I'm
little
like,
something do it on TV.
You're,
sir,
you're a millennial
What's a
that has a
sword
face
face
tattoo?
tattoo mean?
One of the most cringy tattoos I think I've
Okay,
ever
I
seen.
found this on the web. For
I
what's
was at a
first?
music festival a few years back, and it was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. We were
Strength.
in the parking lot listening to music.
Power.
This dude's like just this super tall, skinny dude's just standing next to me.
Extra.
And mind you, like I'm shit faced. I'm like standing like this on my walking stick, listening to these guys play music in front of me. I look over and this dude's got like Grim Reaper scythes tattooed right here along his eye
Oh my
sockets.
god.
And the first thing I thought was, oh my God, your mom probably hates that so much.
I want to go to Thanksgiving at your house.
But I
Oh,
would,
but I
I
have
would
one
venture to
question.
say if he has that tattoo on his face, yeah, his mom would probably hate it, but she's
Oh, but
probably
he-
not in this. He probably didn't get the punch from his mom. Like there's probably some family stuff going on.
He probably not invited to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Either
Yeah.
that or it's the opposite. It's exactly that. And he's just like that's what I see nowadays. Where it's
Yeah.
like people that like had like maybe they weren't perfect lives, but it's like it'll be like rich kids that grew up great and like now they got face tattoos. Like even stuff that like
That's true. Cindy
so many
Crawford's
people that
son.
I used to know, it's because they just like see other people like with it. They think it's
Yeah.
cool and they're willing to make the bold move of like I'm gonna fucking do it. Fuck it. 20 years old,
Yeah.
Reaper on my face,
Yeah. Oh,
it's gonna happen.
I think there's
Like,
gonna be
oh,
boom
yeah,
and
cool.
laser
Remind yourself that every day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Should we get our laser tech removal licenses now?
Have you found?
In Ohio,
have
the
you
way
found
the
a
law
pain
is written,
occupation
you
notice
have
that
to
you want
be
to
an
do?
actual doctor.
Should we look into that?
Start
at all?
legislation to loosen the grips of the laser removal
I've
industry?
had recommendations to people, but I don't even remember who they are right now. It's
Next
been a
time
while.
there's a body
Over
art
COVID, I just stopped thinking about it, but
Uh,
now that's over.
meeting with
Sorry.
the health department, that could be discussed.
I need someone that's smarter than
Do
me
you-
to
why
write
do you know
paperwork on that.
Sean O'Hare. He's I've been following him for a while
Hmm.
now, but
There's a new
he
place in
seems pretty
Columbus we
personable.
recommend.
He's based, I believe, out of Michigan. He comes to Cleveland and
Hey.
Cincy pretty regularly. What?
Have a conversation into the mic. We got
You
two
guys were-
conversations
you guys were
going on.
talking. We were.
I
Shit,
didn't know who started first. I was like, I think.
What are
we
you guys
started
talking
first.
about? I missed it.
I was asking him if he had found, if he had looked into an artist to do, a body modification specialist to do his top.
Oh,
So start that out.
have you started looking into somebody to do that?
Yeah, I used to have a list of people, and over COVID, just didn't think about it one time. So I like lost the idea of that. Who can do it? I think on my Instagram, there's a lot of people that I was thinking about, but
Is Sean Moore still around in town? He used to work at a vault. He did it
yeah,
for a while. Reverend Sean.
I want to make sure I get someone really good.
He
That's for
did.
sure. I'm not saying he's not. That'd
Yeah.
be awesome.
I could definitely find a good recommendation for you.
I've been following a guy named
So I was
Sean
even thinking about
O'Hare.
going to a plastic surgeon just to do it, just so I can get like
Oh.
fucking knocked out or some shit.
I've
while I
got
do it.
an emergency saw. It's a
Yeah,
Well,
wire.
you with lidocaine.
will they? Yeah,
Oh.
sorry.
No, that's not. It's cool.
Yeah, I've been following a guy named Sean O'Hare that does a really good job. He's based out of Michigan. He's got a pretty extensive portfolio of like a lot of tongue splits.
Nice.
And they all look really good, healed and like right after being split and after healing, they all look amazing. I think he's based out of Michigan. He travels down to Cincinnati, and Cleveland.
Okay. The name
pretty
sounds
regularly.
familiar.
And then he's been doing a bunch of like body suspension stuff with, I don't know what her name is, but I saw a couple videos from the Denver Tattoo Expo.
Nice.
Body suspension looks crazy, man.
Too much for me, but
When I was younger, I
You like
always
it.
said
You
I was
like
gonna do it, but like now that I'm older, I'm like, man, I don't think I'd ever actually have the balls to do that.
I couldn't ruin my back piece. I was like first off, let
Yeah,
alone
really.
not wanting to be
You do it
hung
from
by
your
my skin.
knees.
Oh,
Piece
Yeah,
of meat.
do the backs of your knees, man.
But he did it from the top of his knees.
Why did I think of that?
He swung from the top of his knees.
Ow.
Yeah, Michael Chance did it from the top of his knees all the time. That was his spot.
Oh my
man.
god,
Yeah,
Uh,
hung upside down like on a trapeze.
fuck that.
So there actually used to be a pretty significant suspension heavy body mod thing in Columbus.
mhm.
A lot of those guys are still around. So I said I don't know the right names, but I can make a couple phone calls and find if
Yeah.
we're looking, shop around and find the best and do what you want to do. But
Being patient about it right now. But
Yeah,
the time will
yeah.
come. The time will come. It's just
I'll-
one of those
I'll
things.
wait
I'm in no
for it.
rush because the healing I don't want to deal with. So I don't know when I'm ready for
You're
it.
gonna have to take time off work, or we're all
And
just
like
gonna make fun of
and
you.
the relearning how to talk.
The tongue is like the quickest healing
It's
part of your
quick,
body, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's really it is, it's
But with the teeth, the tongue
it doesn't take that long, but it also like you thought you're gonna talk like this until you teach yourself how
Right,
to not talk
right.
like that.
It's gonna be Jordan.
And like I had
I can't
like
even do anything.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather,
Yeah.
yellow leather.
Mommy made me match my M&Ms. Mommy made me match my M&Ms.
is that what they said to you to get rid of your list?
Yes. I had more of a mumble.
Never heard that before. But it rolls right off the tongue.
It's fun. I'll try it. Unless you
Speech
do it.
therapy is awesome.
Those vocal lessons. It's awesome.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Stupidness. Sorry, I didn't get you off.
I don't know
So
if I was
there's
saying
there's
something.
one guy I follow. I don't want to say the wrong name. But his brother is a plastic surgeon in Australia, and he's a body modification artist, and they like trade techniques and share. I'm gonna double check. Like I said, I don't want to say the name of the wrong body mod artist, but it's really cool to see that like with the two of them working together, like his brother's being able to like do like reconstruction, and he's trying different suture techniques, and one is like feeding into the other. So there's somebody earlier mentioned like plastic surgery, and it's super entwined. You know what I mean? Like,
So if we were patient, we could find somebody that can do this with like a self-cauterizing laser.
That's pretty.
yeah, yeah.
Like I'm just saying, like, because that's what a lot of plastic surgery is. When they open things, it's immediate suture. It's like a
I want a laser to do it.
Wouldn't that be
That's
rad?
what I-
Oh, you should
figured
hold
you
that and
knew.
have a robot do it.
Right? A robot laser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hard.
I
Like
think we're
big
like,
old like CNC arm that's got it connected to it.
yeah, I think we're a few years off from that still.
I got you, bro. I'll make you a contact.
Right? How good would
I
you
think
feel
that's
laying
weird.
back with this
Robot.
machine arm about to do that?
Ooh.
I'll let a rector set it together this afternoon. Cut your tongue out. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing.
Got a knife
He said,
and a
"Wait,
cutting board.
fuck
He's got
that."
a fancy knife, even Ben. You'll love it. Let's do it. Let's make this happen.
Just heat that
One-
knife up.
One
I was
clean
gonna say, make
slice.
it red
As
hot.
I
long
bet
as
I
it's
can
red
Do
hot.
ginger.
do you have a clothes iron and a blowtorch?
Guys, we're kidding. We would never do this.
Don't
On
try
air.
this at home.
Try it and fucking email me then. Let me
Sorry.
know what happens.
That
So
was
we got
hot
some
mic.
references for you.
I forgot we were on
Trained
air.
professionals.
No, I'm really
Yes.
kidding. Don't do this.
Don't do any of these
These are
things.
trained professionals.
We're joking.
Never ever.
You're
ever.
trained
I'm gonna go to a
jokers.
trained professional, and that's why I've been holding out because I can't wait to find someone who's really good at it. So I don't go to someone who is not good at it and fuck my tongue up
Well, I remember back
and
in
never
the
be able to
day,
talk again
Guys would just take
or
their
lose my
tongue
tongue and
piercing,
look like the person from the Grudge.
flip
Oh.
fishing line through it and just work the fishing line through their tongue
Oh,
so it would split all the way
No.
through.
That is a
Yeah.
thing. They tie it.
that's a
They
no.
go from your piercing, and then you do that, and you close it off over a
Cinch,
period of a
cinch,
couple
cinch,
months, like a period of literally like a couple months, almost like a month or more. But I used to watch a lot of videos on that just to see because
Could you
when I
imagine
was
walking
young, I
with
was
your tongue
curious.
tied very much?
And yeah, I was like, no way. 'Cause they went through hell doing it and it never comes out clean.
Do you guys know, is BME zine still a thing?
Huh?
Do you
No.
remember
I
that body
was on it.
modification? Do you
I-
remember
yeah,
what I'm talking
I-
about?
yeah,
Is that
he-
still a thing?
No, Shannon died. Shannon was the host of, or the creator of it,
Okay.
and he died. Yeah, like
Alright.
in the late 90s, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it would have been like mid-2000s that I was on there.
Oh, okay, then it must have been later, because he was definitely, it was his, and then I think,
There was some body modification that I discovered on that page
Yeah.
where I was like, why
Oh,
would you? What?
yeah,
Who gave you this permission?
Where the, like, I couldn't even, like, where'd the idea come
I
from?
know.
Why would you? How did you? Who did it? Why? Is it healed? Does it hurt? Do you like it
What'd your mom say?
more?
Does it wiggle on its own?
Yeah, body modification on like extreme scales is so wild. I think that's
Like,
props
people
to them. Like I think
horns.
it's cool, but like I can't imagine so much of it for me. Like any of like horn mods and like
Mhm.
facial implants and just like especially things that change me like forever and,
Yeah.
and like that are a huge thing to come back from. Like if you got the balls and the confidence to rock that, I think that's awesome.
Dirk
That's
had a
so dope.
When you gonna
implant
get
That's so
your
because that's like a
first-
special thing. It's like an art to rock that kind of confidence in general, let alone having it and stuff. But
When are you gonna get your
I
eyeball
wouldn't do
done?
it. No way, I wouldn't do that shit either. But I think it's cool. But I would be way too worried about losing my vision. And even if my vision, I lost any part of it by 1 or 2%, like that's a huge difference for me. I notice that shit. I use my eyes so much every day,
So what you're
and I
saying
am
is
already noticing things.
I can tattoo your eyelid, but not your eyeball.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, with confidence.
as long as you put a spoon under it first.
Spoon eyelid.
Dirty spoon.
Dirty spoon.
Good thinking.
I learned how to play spoons the other day.
Did you?
Emily taught me. I didn't know.
Yeah.
We were listening to Spoon Man.
Next one. The
Like
world
that.
needed your mouth rendition
Yeah,
of Spoonman.
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 Spoon. Dr. Spoonman.
Richard. Dr. Richard Spoonman.
Dr. Jordan Spoonman.
So we were given a gift, and I should have brought it last week, but I forgot, but this will be a good week. So my mother stumbled upon a gift for us. I totally know what it is, but she took the time to wrap it in the most atrocious. I'm gonna let you guys open it up. So there's some happy birthday paper in there. There's a
It's-
real tree gift
it's
bag.
camouflage.
Yeah, she
Dumb
wanted to
lives
make
it.
it as awfully wrapped as she could.
Can I keep the real tree bag?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and Christmas paper.
What bag? I- what bag?
No, this is a you
No.
thing. This is
This is a
a
bag?
this is a you
It's
thing.
nothing crazy,
This
just
is
tear it
all
open.
you thing.
All right.
Such a you
I
thing.
don't even see a bag.
You.
Is there a